anybody there?
Are you there, Mark?
Okay, looks like we're starting a new live stream, unfortunately.
Hopefully.
Hello?
Hello? Hello? So.
Hello?
So.
Hold on. Hello?
Breathe, Raph.
Stop being all terrified.
Uh-oh.
Hello?
Anyways.
Hello?
Hello yourself.
I can't think straight for nothing.
I don't hear you, Raph.
Yeah, this stinks.
You don't hear me. Oh, my goodness. Holy crap, I'm coming
I was
through.
getting stuff set up.
Alright.
I can hear you when.
Yeah. This always happens. Like last show, this happened as well.
Technical
difficulties of the show. Can you hear me now?
He's typing.
Checking.
I was about to say,
the
God
button.
damn it, Raph, did you accept Sandy?
Hello?
Can you hear me now?
No, I can't.
Okay, can you guys hear
So how
me?
you doing? I've seen your artwork a lot.
Dear listeners,
Hello?
not sure what
Here.
Raph has planned for us tonight, as this was a kind of sudden and short notice, but I'm sure you're in for a treat.
Hello?
And just like that, the horrible hiss of the fan next to my face has started. So we actually have a couple of people in the chat area so far. Well, let's see what we got. We got that Bizarre Kaiju guy. I think you're brand new. Godzilla and the Scarf Productions. Hello, how you doing? By the way, when I said I am the hip whack catawass, that was a reference to Dune. But Bizarre Kaiju guy says, "Hey, this is my first time on your stream. I wanted to ask if you have read the Red Man comic. It's my personal favorite comic, but I understand not loved by all. For its... Okay, I actually have the first collection that Matt Frank made. And I actually enjoyed it immensely quite a bit, even though when it was mostly just illustrations and a lack of dialogue. But it was very true to the Red Man concept and improving upon immensely. It was great, just great to see so many lesser-known Toho Kaiju, Tsuburaya Kaiju, and probably Jira, so the Toho Kaiju typo makes sense, show up again. And that's one of the wonders of comics and mangas. You can do a lot with the medium that you can't easily do in television. And we also have the Toho Society, another new person. Hello there. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, and germs, non-gender Pacific entities, and non-gendered Pacific life forms. I am in Shoma. This is my live stream of consciousness, and we're going to keep things simple tonight by only inviting one guest, which we will be doing right now. Hold on. I am also terrible at multitasking, so if I don't get to your questions right away, you'll understand that, or you asking me stupid questions about Shrek, and I'm just going to ignore them completely and totally. So, seriously, it's not even worth the effort. Type other things. Like, what's an obscure movie everyone knows but has never seen? Dune! Make Dune references. There we go. 1980s Dune, not the good one. Alright, so I am calling our tonight's guest. As you can see, the title is referred to as the Hawanja experiment. And the reason for that is we're only having one guest tonight, and that is... Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. So we're live right now, and as you know, the title for this episode, even knowing the title card says insert title, is the Hawanja experiment. And that's because we're just going to have one guy on tonight. We might bring in some more people if we see them in the chat saying hello. But other than that, nothing to worry about. So, and Hawanja, do you want to introduce yourself to to the audience, which also includes Branzant Films? Can you hear me? Yes, we can read you, so you're completely wrong there. And of course, Jugless Juggler is here too. So Ultra Q is underrated. Well, underrated in America, but in Japan it still has a large legacy. But anyways, Hawanja, you're our titular guest for tonight. Titular. So do you want to introduce yourself and plug away?
Sure. My name is Mark. How you doing? You can just call me Mark. It's cool. And I have a couple of YouTube channels. One's called Why I Hate the World, where I talk about politics and culture and stuff. And then another one called UCDvideos, where I unbox toys and, play video games and lots of non-political content. That's the channel where I talk about TV shows and games and toys and stuff. So that's my main thing. And then I'm also an artist, and me and Inshoma here go way back. So thanks for having me on, dude.
You're very much welcome, because we were supposed also, the links you mentioned to your YouTube channels are already in the description. So if you in the audience want to go visit them, by all means, definitely give UCDvideos a big support, because it's the more fun of the two channels. But Why I Hate the World is something I think we can all relate to.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So yeah, it's but yeah, I'm gonna kind of keep things simple tonight. Although Brayton, if you want to join in, we'll bring you on in a half an hour or so. So just say so in the chat. We were supposed to have a live stream last night, but I wasn't feeling all there physically. I was a little, I don't know why, I got a little bit of sickness. So we moved you to the night where we know we'd have more free time, and last night I did do an impromptu live stream with the other guys, but that was like peer pressure mixed with stupidity. But that's a part of my other live stream series, Night Owling, where we try to stay up as late as possible, but we kind of ruined the purpose because we all went to bed before 1 o'clock. So, and but yeah, Hawanja, it's all yours. If you want to share any thoughts you have other than the wackiness going on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, it is hard not to talk about that, huh?
Yeah, well, it's like, what is it? I'm trying my best to be the better man, and calling some friends I was talking to some friends today just to get in touch with everybody, because I'm using October to do a lot of commissions and whatnot. And I'm trying to be the better man. I'm trying not to gloat or mock what's going on, because we should not have been in this situation to begin with. And I called my friend Jesse, who lives in Tennessee, who has kind of been directly impacted by this administration's financial foolishness, since his family are on. I'm not going to get in detail to it, but it's affected him financially, and he just kept making Donald Trump to the grave jokes left and right. It's like, Jesse, come on.
Well, I mean, it's hard to not, be a dick about it.
Yeah. Oh, before you continue, I'm just letting everyone know in the audience, we're going to get to the more fun stuff. We're just going to get this little piece of crap out of the way in the next 2 minutes.
It's kind of like the elephant in the room, right? You gotta make a comment at least. It's my first reaction was to jump up. Like, I made a video last night, because I was up late and I heard about it on Twitter. And my first reaction was to just jump on the webcam and just start laughing my ass off. And and then I thought about that. I'm like, man, that's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be like, that's going to be a problem for people, because there's an election, and if your goal is to defeat this man in the election, then you need to convince people who are undecided, right? And you're not going to convince them if you come out like a huge dick and start like making jokes and shit, and and you know what I mean? Because that's what I wanted to do. I mean, I'm not going to deny it. I wanted to just jump up there and be like, "Oh, you taking hydroxy fucking chloroquine?" You know what I mean? Like, I thought you could inject some fucking bleach. That's what I wanted to do, but
it's honestly hard not to. It's like, like, what is it? Frank Corniff, who played TV's Frank on Mystery Science Theater, like minutes after it broke on Twitter, he had this joke. It's like, the president is also being tested for karma. It's yeah, and it's and like I said, we shouldn't have been in this situation, period. And I don't want anybody to suffer from this virus anymore. But
exactly,
and
that includes the president of the United States. That includes, even if you support him or if you don't support him, it doesn't matter. He's still a president.
Yeah.
So it's not right to wish ill things on the man. You know, I don't want him to die. I mean, I want him to lose the election, right? But no, and you know, it's just, and this is the thing, right? Like, people can come together in times of national crisis like this, regardless of who's in charge. You know what I mean? That's one thing you, as Americans, that's what you do. You know, when there's a tragedy someplace, when there's a, you know, when there's a disaster, for example, you know, 9/11, something like that. Now, we could talk about that a lot because I actually have a lot to say about that, but I know we want to like talk about monster movies and stuff, and I'd much rather prefer talking about monster movies than like politics, you know. But,
Yeah. Plus you have your own live stream happening tomorrow night, so you can really get into that big time.
oh yeah, hey, if you want to join me, let me know, dude.
I will see what happens, but I'm just letting everyone know. It's like on Hwanja's channel, we really get into it. So
Yeah,
this is
one is very partisan, very partisan, very you know, no holds barred kind of, you know, political analysis. So if that's what you're into, you know, that's that's mainly what I talk about on that one channel. So, but anyway, how you doing, man? It's been like forever, you know, because of the, you know, pandemic and stuff. I haven't gone outside in like so long. So
right.
I
Well,
think we've been out in like friggin' 7 months or something. Like, how's it going?
yeah. When was the last time I saw you? Or, to everybody, including Bizarre Kaiju Guy, don't worry, we're getting off the giant orange-haired gorilla.
Yeah, no more Trump talk, man.
Yeah. It's like you said, it's really hard not to talk about this because it's just you should have known better, dude. It's like, yeah, and plus, yeah, and he. Anyways, let's not talk about him. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
So it's. But anyways, yeah, the last time we saw each other was earlier this year, wasn't it? Like around February, January.
I think it was like probably February.
Okay.
It was a while. It was before I got my new job, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and oh my goodness, yeah. No, I honestly miss taking, because as annoying as it was to take a 5-hour bus ride to see you guys up in, because I'm by the beach, you're up way in the mountains.
Yeah.
So and it's
huh? It's about 50 miles or so is the distance. So,
yeah, by car. Yeah, by
where we live.
Yeah,
which really it sounds like a lot. It's really not that far. It's you know, maybe 35 minutes, you know, by car. It just so happens that LA has very bad public transportation, so that's why it takes all day to like take a bus, you know.
Yeah, and I do not drive for various reasons, because if not, I'd probably be in jail for road rage right about now. Get to know me better, ladies and gentlemen. But not okay. It's what is it? Yeah, it does take me 4 to 5 hours. Huh?
Sorry. There was just some weird buzzing coming from the computer. Go on.
Okay, yeah, it takes me about 4 to 5 hours to get to your place by taking the trains and the buses, and I don't mind doing it if I do it early enough. And I found some shortcuts that if I take certain bus routes, I get to places way faster than others. And it's enjoyable, but at the same time, you know, it's definitely a chore to do. And I know that I have a friend who does an Uber service who can drive me up there, but like you said, it's like, even unless the traffic is really good, yeah, you can get up to your place around 40 minutes. If not, then it's a full 2-hour drive. Yeah, depending on how bad the traffic gets. But other than that, yeah, I don't mind coming down and seeing you and your wonderful wife Cammie, and hanging out with your really cool animals too for like the weekends and all that. And unfortunately, the lockdown happened here in Los Angeles, which was the smart thing to do. Unfortunately, it seems that everything's kind of going belly up again. So at least more in the inner cities, we're kind of fortunate we're outside of that. But outside the pandemic, you're still close to the fires, aren't you?
Actually, no. This time, as of right now, there aren't any where I'm at. No, they're over in like around Pasadena. So that's where the one super gigantic fire is. That's like blazing out of control for like 2 weeks. That's what that was. I think we're lucky. I mean, then again, the fire season is not over with. You know, we're actually kind of hitting like the peak of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, if you remember, the time I had to evacuate, that was right after, you know, right after Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
That I had to evacuate in 2018,
Oh
which
my.
was like. So we still got like a month to go. You know.
Mm-hmm. Oh god.
But we've been very lucky with that. There was a little one that was like, you know what it is? Because there's not a lot of wind right now.
Mm-hmm.
And up in Northern California, it's all windy, and that's what's like, you know, that's what's keeping it all going, the wind conditions.
Right.
So, but anyway, yeah, no, we're safe, thankfully. Actually, things are kind of looking pretty good around here. I mean, I noticed restaurants are reopened and stuff like that. That's nice. I do notice that a lot of little stores and things have kind of gone out of business, like
Yeah.
little boutiques and like, you know, across the street from where I live, there was like a little sort of like thrift store kind of place that went up.
Oh, what?
You
Oh
know.
no, I like that place. It's completely
Yeah.
gone.
Yeah, it was like there was like a little sort of boutique
Yeah.
thrift store that went out of business.
Yeah, it was like it was a very small Salvation, not a Salvation Army. What's that other place?
No, the Salvation Army is still there. That one's still there.
Okay, there was another place. Okay.
There was another place next to it. Yeah, that's the place that's gone.
Oh.
So it's you know, but I did notice that all the restaurants are like really packed, you know. So I think what it is, I think people are like I think there's a lot of pent up demand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, and a lot of people want to go out and have fun. And I mean, shit, I'll tell you, I want to do I'm like having dreams of like going to the mall and catching Pokemon and getting lunch and going to the movies. You know, like, because I play Pokemon Go. Like, I'm having dreams of doing that because it's been like 7 months. Like, I really, really, really want to go to the movies. You know. And I kind of feel bad because all the movies that are out now are all tanking because nobody's seeing them. Although apparently, I guess I was reading about the Bill and Ted movie, and it made a decent amount of money on video on demand.
Oh, that's good to hear. I was actually rooting for that movie, and I am a big fan of the Bill and Ted films.
Yeah, like I don't know how much it cost, but I mean they made something like $40 million just from like video on demand. So I'm thinking I might just like download it and watch it because I do kind of want to see that.
Oh yeah, it might even do better on when it gets released on DVD and Blu-ray. Although who knows what's the deal with that?
But I kind of feel bad also for movie theaters. Like all the movies that were supposed to come out are still pushed back. You know, no Black Widow, no Wonder Woman. You know, no friggin' King Kong versus Godzilla. God damn it!
Oh, that like I'm right up there with Movie Bob in the sense that last year. Godzilla King of the Monsters underperformed, and regular audiences were just pretty meh about it. And it's like, who cares? I'm still getting my Kong versus Godzilla next year. Now, cut to almost a year later, no Kong or Godzilla.
Yeah, I mean, although the toys are out. Did you see the toys?
Yeah, I saw. Well, I don't know. Those toys look so cheap to me. Like literally, I feel like if you drop them from 3 feet, they're gonna crack open.
I mean, well, they're made for kids. The only one I bought was the Skull Crawler.
Right.
Because the old Skull Crawler that came out with Kong Skull Island was horrible. It sucked.
Yeah, you did a comparison video where.
Yeah, you saw my video. Yeah.
Yes, in fact, let me go find it.
I already sold it. Actually, the old one, I got rid of it because it was like the new one is way better. But
nice.
Yeah, I mean, it actually looks better. I mean, the quality is just as what any kid's toy would be, so it's not like I don't know if you guys like there's like the Bandai Monster Arts kind of thing. It's not like that. It's not like one of those high detailed NECA collectibles. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's very much like, you know, you can see the joints and the screws in it and that kind of thing. So, but
yes, I'm sharing your Skull Crawler video in the chat section, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, and we got some silly questions I'm going to skip because obviously they're not Kaiju Juggler. But, okay, Branzent Films, a.k.a. our friend Brayton, who was in charge of the Mystery Science Theater films that we're a part of, He said in relation to the whole Trump nonsense, the phrase "play stupid games, win stupid prizes" comes to mind.
Totally.
Okay, now Bizarre Kaiju Guy, he has 2 questions for us. Okay, so Gamera 3 is my favorite kaiju film. What's yours? Okay.
Ooh. You go first, man.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think, if I had to pick the one that, if I'm going to be shot up in outer space and they say pick one and take it with you, I don't know. Oh my goodness. I know there's way better movies, but as far as personal favorites go, I've always been a big fan of Godzilla vs. the Hedorah, or Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster, although I might have to change. It's like, that's kind of being uneven right now, because I know I'm a big fan of GMK. I'm also a big fan of Gamera the Brave. Since it's not a diehard question, I'm going to pick those 3 as a tie, basically. So, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree. GMK is my favorite Godzilla movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, favorite like kaiju movie. I mean, if we're talking only like Japanese kaiju, jeez, I don't know. Yeah, probably GMK is my favorite one. Either that or the first Gamera Guardian of the Universe. That one.
Oh yeah, that is a pretty decent one.
What was that? 96 when that came out.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I like that one better than part 2 or 3 is it has a very, I guess, well connected plot. You know what I mean? Like the plot actually makes sense, and it moves along pretty quick, right? There's not a lot of dead time. Like sometimes in the how do you say that? Heisei Godzillas. How do you say that word?
I just say Heisei.
Heisei Godzillas, yeah. Sometimes in those movies, you'll get a good 20 or 30 minutes where it's just nothing happening, and it's just like, and yeah, there's plot going on, and they're creating whatever super weapon they're creating or some shit like that, right? But it kind of like those are the parts where you get up and go to the bathroom and get more popcorn and right, and yeah, and the first Gamera doesn't really have a lot of that. You know what I mean? It's like it keeps you to your seat, and even when the monster encounters are very dynamic. So even some of the Godzilla movies will just be like, especially the Heisei, ones. There'll be lots of him just walking around and tanks shooting at him, and then it actually kind of almost drags a little bit. Like there might be like city destruction, but then that'll just go on for like 10, 15 minutes, and you're like, okay, well, what's going to happen next? You know what I mean? And so some, like, for example, Space Godzilla, that one is probably, I think, the weakest of those, of that era, right? And because that one, it almost kind of gets like boring at some points. Even when they're fighting, it's just like beams and stuff flying around and very slow camera pans where they're not doing anything. And then if you compare that to like Gamera Guardian of the Universe, like when he's fighting the Gauss, like it's very dynamic, very quick paced, Yeah. Even at the beginning, even when like there's like that one part where they have the 2 Gauss in cages and they're in a stadium. And he breaks through the stadium, and then like flies away and he like slaps it and it like lands in a thing and explodes. Like it's very like dynamic. It's like an anime almost. You know what I mean? The way they filmed it.
It's funny you should say that. A lot of people who worked on anime actually storyboard and did the effects for that sequence. Yeah, Shinji Iguchi, he's not much of an animator, but he did a lot of storyboard gags in the fight scenes for Neon Genesis Evangelion, so you get a bit of that energy there.
Exactly. He was the same. Wasn't that the same like director? Actually, directed Shin Godzilla also, right?
That was what's his name? The guy who actually created Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Oh.
Hideaki Anno, he was the one who directed Shin Godzilla. So
Right.
but Shinji Iguchi was there helping with the effects. So
I never answered the question though. Let me see. So yeah. Anyway.
go ahead and
that-
just say your favorite Godzilla movie, because that's pretty much the cream of the crop as far as kaiju is concerned.
Yeah. I'd say GMK, and it's for those same reasons. It's very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I still really like. I mean, as far as just monster movies in general, I really like Peter Jackson's King Kong. That's like one of my favorite movies, even though it lags a lot and it's way too long
Mm-hmm.
and like, kind of bloated.
Right.
Yeah, I also think it's very, very, very well done. And even though it's a little over the top in places, like there's the V-Rex fight.
I don't mind
It just kind of goes on and on and on. You know what I mean? It's like they could have cut out a good 6 minutes out of that, and it still would have been awesome. But the overall product, I think, it's like that movie's an endurance trial, but at the same time, it's very once you get through it all, it's very satisfying. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, no, I honestly I don't mind the V-Rex fight in that movie, because it's exactly what we came to see, and it's honestly a very good fight. What I don't like, though, is when they use the more outrageous scenes for sequences that should have played fairly normal, like the writing of Skull Island. That was that was a little much, or
it takes half an hour to type out the word skull. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, or it's what is it? Being on that boat, I think, is what kills the movie for me, because it's the New York sequences are great, the Skull Island sequences are great, but we're on that boat for so bloody long, and it's why would you go out of your way to do that? I know King Kong is a classic story, but the building up the tension is getting a little ridiculous there.
They could have cut a good 40 minutes out of them being on the boat. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see it. I noticed Peter Jackson kind of does that in a lot of his movies.
Mm-hmm.
Tends to bloat, just fill him up with bloat. What he really likes? He really likes those sort of long, interlocking action sequences. It's like watching almost a Rube Goldberg machine. Like he does the same thing in the Hobbit movie, where there's the dwarves go through this complicated process and they end up dumping gold on the dragon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This huge, it's almost like one of those Tom and Jerry cartoon Rube Goldberg machines where the bucket knocks over a fucking thing and that makes a wheel spin and that makes the gold spill and go down a channel where the Thorin has to surf on it on a wooden board or whatever. Then that spills on the dragon. You know what I mean? They go through all of this stuff. And I notice he does that in King Kong also. When he's fighting the V-Rexes, and then they fall off a cliff, and then they're swinging in vines, and they're, the dinosaurs are still trying to eat the girl, even though they're falling to their death. They're still hungry for some reason.
Yeah.
And all of this stuff, there's lots of stuff like that in that movie too. And I noticed that I think that's something Peter Jackson just really likes for some reason. So. But I don't know. I still really like that movie. I still think that's one of the best giant monster movies in the last 20 years for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. So what is it? Bizarre Kaiju guy? He had another question earlier. He's what? Hold on. I have also a soft. Huh?
There's something about Birdemic in there. I saw.
Oh, we'll ignore that. Is Birdemic a kaiju movie? No. So, anyways, yeah. There's some silly. No. It's real questions. Okay, hold on. Oh, thoughts on the Tremors franchise?
Oh, okay. Wait, which worm-related film looks better? Tremor 7, Shrieker Island, or Dune 2020? Wow.
I've never
seen Tremors, huh?
Yeah, I've never seen either of those two movies because they haven't been released yet. So let's just go back to what we think about Tremors. That was a question he asked earlier. Your thoughts on the Tremors franchise?
I like it. I've only seen like the first. Well, I actually have like a 4-pack DVD, but I've only watched like 3 of them. Um, so the first one is classic. It's, you know, a classic homage to that sort of 1950s giant bug movie kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
except they're underground, you know. And it's like I thought it was really cool because it was like, the scientist in the movie is a geologist,
Mm-hmm.
so she's pretty useless. Like usually, like in a movie like that, there'll be the scientist character who creates some kind of weapon or like figures out, somehow is able to like figure out everything there is to know about the monster
Mm-hmm.
just through like the most slimmest of evidence, right?
Yeah.
And the cool thing about Tremors is that they don't know anything. And their scientist is a geologist. It's like the most useless scientist when it comes to fighting a giant monster. Like,
Hey,
it's not like,
you take that back. There's a whole legacy of science fiction films where a geologist takes out anything and anyone.
Well, what I mean, it's like, if this movie came out in 1957, it would have been like a scientist who creates a ray gun or something to like,
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Like, oh, if we just use the Earth's gravitational pull and focus it through the lens of whatever, we'll create this laser and that'll kill the, monster.
Mm-hmm.
And this one, it's like, you know, this one, it's like a geologist student who's like, it's coming this way. Like that's her entire like role in the movie.
Mhm.
is just to be like, here it comes. And but I thought it was cool because the heroes are just like regular guys, and
Mhm.
they're not even like normal guys. They're kind of losers, like
Yeah, yeah.
like handymen that work in the middle of nowhere, where it's like survivalists and like trailer park people and like
Mm-hmm.
you know and they're always sort of like, oh, let's go off to the big city and get our fortune, and then they never do. They're just sort of stuck in their place, and
Mm-hmm.
and that I thought that was cool because it was sort of like, okay, well now it's the everyman guy who gets to be the hero. It's not some like, you know, Jonas Venture like scientist like action hero dude. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
like a guy throwing dynamite on a fishing line to like blow it up. So. The other three, you ever seen the other three? Or yeah, because there's like, I think there's like, well, I guess there's gonna be 7.
Yeah, I've seen
yeah.
I've seen everything Tremors related except for the upcoming movie Tremors Island.
Okay, so you know way more than I do. I think I've only seen the second one where they like mutate into like flying tremor things.
Oh, so you haven't seen
No.
the third, the fourth one? I know we saw the one where, oh god, they went to Africa and it was supposed to be a much larger monsters version, but they introduced Burt Gummer as a kid in there.
I don't remember. I might have seen it, but
Yeah,
I remember. Yeah, the
it's
second
okay.
one is. I think the second one is where they grow legs, and then
Mhm.
they like fly with fart powers or something.
No,
then,
here's the thing: the first Tremors, we dealt with the giant worms, which is like the most
Yeah.
basic form of these graboids.
Yeah,
Second movie,
they're
yeah, the second
like
movie
a larva form.
introduced the Shriekers, which were these small, bizarrely adorable Velociraptor things. The
Right.
third film introduced the Ass Blasters, which are the flying Tremors.
That's the one. Okay, so I've seen
Yeah,
that.
yeah, and the fourth film, which was a prequel that took place in the Old West, which is actually really good, but a lot of the really underrated entry in the whole series. That one introduced the baby version of a graboid, or dirt dragons, as they're called in the movie.
Dirt Dragons.
Yeah.
Don't think I've seen that one. I think I have it on DVD. I think Cammy got me a 4-pack like a few years ago for
Oh yeah,
Christmas.
yeah. The third
Okay.
movie is okay, but I think you'd really get a kick out of the fourth one. So
I didn't know there were 7. So wait, isn't there one that's like takes place in like the Arctic or something?
yeah, okay. Let's go over the Tremors movies. There's the first one with Kevin Bacon. There's
Uh-huh.
the second one where it's only Fred Ward coming back
Ward.
as his character in Mexico, where they're fighting the Shriekers. The third one is a return to the small town of perfection that introduces the Ass Blasters. There
Okay.
was the television series, which had different graboids as well as miscellaneous monsters. Then there was the fourth movie, which was a prequel from the Old West that showed Burt Gummer's ancestor, who is nothing like the Burt Gummer we know now. There was the sixth movie where Burt Gummer has to go to Africa to fight a new subspecies of graboid, and that's where he meets his illegitimate son, played by Jamie Kennedy. Then there's the seventh one, no, the sixth one, where they go to supposedly Alaska, but it's clear that they just filmed in the desert and color coded everything bluish. And that one's currently on YouTube, but it's not that good either. And again, they're fighting against a different species of graboid, but one that lives in the in icy environments. And also Burt Gummer is suffering from a parasite he got from the previous movie when he was briefly eaten and spitted out by a graboid. And now we have the upcoming seventh movie, Graboid Island, which is basically the most dangerous game, except Burt Gummer is stuck on an island with other mercenaries and being hunted by not only graboids, but the psychotic rich guy who runs the place.
So wow, he's still making those movies, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's cool. I mean, I guess he's the main character now. That's cool. So what do you think of the Dune trailer? I mean, I know that the guy mentioned it in the chat. You know, are you a fan of the old David Lynch movie?
Well, here's the like I respect Dune for what it is, but that's more of the book and original concept. And the David Lynch movie, I swore I watched it once, but I don't really remember it. I remember it being very long and bloated. And not only that, but there is generally no good version of that movie. There's no director's cut. The extended TV cut I haven't really seen, and the motion picture, I don't know. Like
yeah.
And as for the new trailer, though, like I did try to watch the Sci-Fi Channel miniseries based on Dune, and I did appreciate that they were going for like a stylistic look because of how low budget was. So they were trying to make it like a play that literally comes to life.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that devolved quickly in the usual Sci-Fi Channel cheapness area, where you tried starting out with some really cool stylistic choices, but then it just started looking like a really cheap episode of Star Trek. Stargate SD9.
Not a fan of that, huh?
Yeah, it's okay, but it's like if you're telling the story of Dune, you really can't do it on a shoestring budget. Now, I do know we're living in a slightly better time of adaptations than we ever had in the past, but that trailer didn't leave me with not much of a wow factor, even with the presence of the worm. Because you look at the trailer and it's like Dune by the way of generic Hollywood. It's like, I'm surprised the main villain wasn't going like, for every reaction there is an equal and opposite reaction. Right. Yeah, that kind of thing. Or it's like, the world is changing. It's even knowing that Dune takes place so far in the bloody future, Earth is considered a know-nothing neutral zone nobody wants to visit because all the cool stuff is happening elsewhere.
So in Dune, it would be he who controls the spice controls the universe. That's what the villain would say.
Yeah.
He who controls the spice controls the universe. In fact, that's a line that featured prominently in the David Lynch movie.
Yeah, exactly. So, because
you ever read the book?
It's funny. I read the first half of the book, but then I had to return the book because it was that long. But it's weird. I've watched enough research videos and fan analyses of Dune that I have a really good idea what the fuck's going on without reading it.
Right.
So hold on, I gotta.
Well, if you ever get around to it, it's actually really good.
Oh, so you've read it basically.
Yeah, in fact, I've got it. I can loan it to you if we're ever allowed to go outside again.
Actually, don't worry about it because there's tons of audiobook versions of Dune readily available on YouTube.
So the cool thing about it is it's very cerebral, and there's a lot of world building in it.
Yes, a lot.
Like a lot. Yeah, and so much to where like there's even a glossary in the book. Where like you're like, what the hell does this mean? And you gotta look it up. Because like the first time I read it, I was 16, and I didn't get it because I eventually stopped looking up the words that he would just make up and just powered through it. So I only got 20% of the story the first time. So I've read it like 4 times since then.
Right.
And, it's really I don't know. It's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it. In fact, I've read the whole series. I mean, even because then the guy Frank Herbert died in 1986,
Mm-hmm.
and his son teamed up with Kevin J. Anderson to finish the series
Mm-hmm.
and write. So Kevin J. Anderson wrote, he's the guy that wrote the Star Wars, Dark Force Rising trilogy and stuff like that, right?
Right, with the blue guy Thawne, or was that someone else?
Yeah, that was him.
Okay.
So he was like, because that was a big deal because that was like, back in the early 90s when George Lucas first gave the okay to start, going on to the expanded universe.
Mm-hmm.
So Kevin J. Anderson has some sci-fi cred. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. Like those novels, like they made a bunch of prequels and then they made a couple of sequels that were based on the original notes, and they're all right. I mean, it's kind of like you can tell there's a difference in writing style, and the story is not as inspired. And also not as well thought out than the original ones.
Mm-hmm.
Something else to keep in mind is that Frank Herbert was a
Frank
pervy.
Pervert.
Yeah, he was a pervy bastard.
Okay, so
There is a lot of sex in Dune, and not just Dune, but the whole series.
Mhm.
Like the villains in the last two books are women that use sex to control men and like take over their minds and shit.
right.
Like literally, that's what they do. They like have sex with men and imprint on them, and then the man is like compelled to obey them.
Right.
Right?
Oh no, she's using the sex beam to control
Yeah.
my mind.
So there's a lot of that in not so much in the other prequels and stuff. They kind of tone that down a little.
Mm-hmm.
But in Dune, yeah, there's plenty of, getting it on going on there. But the story though, what's really cool about it is that it's got this sort of like epic story arc that goes through all 6 books, and it goes through 10,000 years, and and there's all these wars, and it's very much like Warhammer 40,000.
Yes.
They based a lot of that on Dune. The God Emperor of mankind.
Right. And yet Dune is the nicer universe to live in.
Yes, for sure. And then
Right.
the fact that the ships have navigators that use psychic powers to go through the warp, so all that stuff's taken out of Dune.
Uh-huh.
The fact that they have, space knights that fight hand to hand,
Mhm.
void shields, all that shit, right? That's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
based on Dune. A lot
Yeah.
of what's Star Wars is based on Dune.
Mhm.
Tatooine is a desert planet. There's, an empire with an emperor and all this other crap. It's
Yeah, big gigantic worms that can swallow up Harrison Ford.
Yeah, exactly. The Sarlacc,
Mhm.
right?
Not just
Luke
the Sarlacc,
Skywalker.
yeah, but the ego site from The Empire Strikes Back, or whatever it's called.
Is that what that thing's called?
Yeah, the
Site?
one that lives inside the meteorite.
The asteroid, yeah. So, but no, I mean, if you ever get a chance to watch the old one, it's got good
Mhm.
creature effects.
Mhm.
Watch the David Lynch version, because the TV cut is like, I mean, it does have a lot of additional scenes that were cut out,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not put in with any sort of finesse. It's like the editing job is really bad.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of like, because in the book there's lots of scenes where the characters are thinking,
Mm-hmm.
and the way David Lynch approached that was to have voiceover. So there's lots of parts where the character is staring at the screen, and then you hear a voiceover, and that means that they should be thinking what they're saying. And it's like, the first time you see it, that's fine, but like every scene, it's like that. In every single scene, it's like this guy's thinking this guy's thinking that, and so it's very like, it gets comical almost.
Mm-hmm.
Because like if you watch it without if you imagine watching it without the voiceover, then it's just people staring at the screen for like half the freaking movie. Right. But the effects are good. The art direction's good. I mean, Sting is in it. He's awesome.
Mhm.
And then like there's that the Sci-Fi 2000 series. I didn't like it. I know that a lot of Dune fans really like that because it's very accurate to the books. It's much more accurate than the David Lynch movie.
Right.
But I agree with you. It's like watching a crappy episode of Stargate SG-1. It's like, the fuck is this? Like the costumes are ridiculous. You know, CG is like PlayStation 1 kind of Hercules and the Legendary Journeys kind of quality. Right? Like,
yeah.
Which I'm sure was fun, but even in 2000, like compared the CG in that to what was in Star Trek Voyager, and you know, you can see like they could do better even for TV. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, yeah, man. And I don't know, it was just really like, it looked like they were trying to make it weird on purpose, especially what the costumes were ridiculous. They were absolutely ridiculous, like stupid looking almost, and that's what kind of ruined it for me. What ruined it was the art direction in that, I guess, fucking ruined it. So, but it was better written, I would say. The writing was better than the David Lynch movie. So, and I don't know, this one, it looks okay. Like just looking at the preview, I mean, who knows? You can't judge it till it comes out, right?
Yeah. But I will say this: the new Dune has, like, visually doesn't get me, but it has a really awesome cast. It's almost a I know that this is like almost a Lord of the Rings of science fiction, and you're filling up with as many awesome actors as Peter Jackson did with his adaptation. So, but it is also kind of an embarrassment of riches because it's just so many good actors, and it's like, I honestly hope they don't screw over all these characters and related actors in turn. So,
well, I think they are planning on making many sequels to this movie because they cast Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho.
All right,
so, Duncan Idaho in the first book is a side character who dies really early. And so, just looking at this thing, the fact that he like is prominent in the trailer means that they're sort of like banking on there being sequels, because eventually Duncan Idaho becomes the main character of the series.
Oh,
as
really?
It goes on. So he dies, and then he gets cloned, and then they call him Golas in Dune. And then he keeps coming back, and by the end of the series, he's like the main guy. Like, well, he's not the main character, but he's the one character that's in all of the original books. Put it that way. So, he's not really the focus so much, but so that's why I think that they casted a famous action dude like that, because they're like, okay, well, that way we know we're going to have star power once we get to God Emperor of Dune or whatever, which I'd be surprised. I mean, that'd be awesome if they actually did end up making, 6 or 7 sequels to this. Like, I think that's what they're trying to go for. They're going, okay, here goes a franchise that's not Star Wars or Harry Potter, or, you know what I mean? Here's a new franchise that we can, like, create, like, 9 movies from. And so that's why they cast him as, like, one of the main characters in it. So
yeah, well, here's the thing though, it's like, oh god, I'm trying to remember the character's name, because I know if I start talking with them, I'm just gonna get a lot of confusion and people try and defend it. But like one of the two of the coolest characters from the Game of Thrones books were completely done dirty in the television adaptation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like, what is it? Oh god, what was the name of that pirate with the horrible British accent?
I can't remember, but the guy that bangs the queen,
yeah. In the original book, he's a dark sorcerer pirate. It's like he's a much more fearsome and intimidating character with an army of. His ship is literally a bunch of cultists who will do anything for him, and they dumbed it down immensely just to kind of save money and make that character less interesting. And then, of course, in the first season of Game of Thrones, you had that one wheelchair-bound character who gets quickly killed by his own daughters, the sand snakes.
Right.
Yeah. In the original books, he's a recurring character who, despite being crippled, he's a very intelligent person and actually tries to work with other characters to try to bring about a peace. And
wait. So, did you actually watch Game of Thrones?
No, I read the books, okay, and I watched
it.
Yeah, but no, I've seen enough documentaries online comparing the books to the TV show, and when I saw that That was literally the producers and the writers like, this is our adaptation, and killing off one of it would be like if we remade Star Wars and pick a popular character that everyone loves but we personally don't like. If
you just like killed off like Han Solo in the first book or something.
No, if we killed off Han Solo in the first 30 minutes of Star Wars just because we personally didn't like him, and just, as kind of a giant middle finger to the audience, like F you. But then again, from what I understand, a lot of the changes were done for very budgetary reasons. But we can't film in the Sand Snake set all the time. So yeah, kill the lead guy and just let his stupid psychotic lesbian daughters take over. It's like, what? Yeah, and it's like, what is it? In the original book, when all the people of the house of the shipping house, the people who live on the boats and all that, when they come together in the books, they come together on an island that's supposed to be the fallen corpse of a giant dragon skeleton. It's supposed to be spectacular and scary, but then in the TV show, it's just a little hill with like a couple of bones here and there.
Right.
It's the Game of Thrones equivalent of Stonehenge from This Is Spinal Tap. And I get the scary idea that we might be seeing something like that in this new Dune. Like, it's a big budget movie, but I feel that they're really going to screw over a lot of characters just for shock value to the longtime fans, but also because the producers know they can't keep Jason Momoa, so it's like, we'll kill him off in this movie, and who cares if we bring him back later or not. But it's I don't know. It's like, I'm 50-50 about this Dune thing, to be honest with you. It might end up being surprisingly good. I know they're going to give it plenty of time as an adaptation. It's like, this is going to be a two-parter movie.
Could be good. They got, I think another wise choice they did was fucking the Beast Raban. They got what's that guy's name? Batista.
Oh yeah, Dave Bautista.
Dave Batista. Dude, that dude's mean. Like Batista. And that's a good fit too for that character. I didn't really see like the main villain, the Baron Harkonnen. They only showed him for like
covered in mud and just floating around.
So I'm not really sure what's going on with that yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the way the character is in the books is much different than the David Lynch movie. He's not sort of this like insane floating fat man that's just like flying around with boils and shit all over him. Like,
yeah, exactly. He who controls the spice controls the wine.
Yeah, like all of that. That's all David Lynch. The whole thing with the sound guns was David Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
That's not in the book at all. There's another thing, like the Harkonnens have heart plugs, So, like, you could just, like there's a part where, like, the Baron goes up to this one innocent kid and pulls this thing out of his chest and kills him. And it's like a plug. That's all David Lynch, So,
yeah. And Baron...
that weird shit that he put on purpose,
And
like that one book.
Yeah. I'm sorry, the original Baron Harkonnen, he was like a much more subdued villain. He's like super intelligent but incredibly ruthless. And he doesn't really fly around. Because he is so horribly obese, he uses anti-gravity engines that just allow him to walk weirdly, like if a balloon float was alive. But he's not supposed to be like, I don't mind a floating Baron Harkonnen. That's kind of a cool visual, but at the same time, it gets away from what the original idea was, and they do get a little ridiculous when he's just floating around screaming like a literal hot air balloon too. So
he's supposed to be a lot more Machiavellian,
mm-hmm.
a lot more like a I guess just cruel type, you know. And it's funny because in the books they kind of expand on that a little in the prequels that Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson created. Like, they're actually not bad, the prequels. Like, there's a scene, for example, where the Beast Raban kills his uncle and strangles his father, basically. Right. And then the next scene is the Baron has the Beast Raban suspended upside down, hanging out of a plane, like a hovercraft, and like tied up from his feet, and then and he's there and he opens the bomb doors, and he's like, "Hey, look at this new sport I created. It's called slave dropping." Right. And then it says like, Raban looked down at the ground and saw a group of spears arranged in an X, right? Like I give myself extra points if I land him on the target, Like they're very like there's another scene in one of the books where the Baron is upset at something, and he says he demanded of his the captain of the guard to bring him a dwarf to torture. So the captain questioned why should the man's height matter, and then whereupon the Baron ordered his surgeons to remove the captain's legs at the knee. Whereupon he decided that he was of sufficient size to serve his needs. So they really expand on just how he's like cruel to be cruel, and like just gets off on inflicting pain on people, that kind of thing, So they're actually funny. I mean, I know a lot of the fans don't like the newer books. Now, I think they're definitely much easier to read. They're much and they really kind of go for that. Like, I don't know. There's actually like funny parts to them. So, but they're actually really good. They're very much more in the way of something like traditional sci-fi. There's not as much like bizarre sex in them and stuff as there is in the old Dune books. So. Not, and it's not all, I mean, and there's still characters, like the whole thing with Dune is that it's all plotting. It's all one character plotting against another, and trying to like take advantage of this or that, or manipulating XYZ, stuff like that, That's what Dune's all about. And so they definitely capitalize on that a lot. Lots of intrigue, I guess is the word for it, right?
Court intrigue?
Well, just in general, like...
Okay.
It's all about, there's forces in the universe, in the galaxy, who are all trying to basically take over the galaxy through one method or another. And it's the Bene Gesserit are trying to create this super being and then manipulate it so that he becomes the emperor.
Yeah.
That's the plot, basically. And then the guy, Paul Atreides, is their super being, but he doesn't play ball with them, essentially. I mean, I'm vastly oversimplifying the plot to Dune.
It's Dune, just simplified away, okay?
Extremely simple. Like, I mean, that's basically summing up the plot in one paragraph or less right there. So there's like so much more to it. It's like, it really is a masterpiece. In particular, the first one. The second one is kind of rushed, and then it starts getting better. Part 3 is Children of Dune, gets really good, and then it sort of takes off into this like multi-book story arc, So definitely very good.
Okay. With that,
go ahead.
No. With that says, do you feel that the visual splendor that's kind of made out in the original books is missing in the trailer? Because I know Dune is supposed to take place on the majority of a desert world, but it's still a really cool, almost wonderfully desolate desert world. And then what we get is it just looks like a regular desert. It's a nice looking desert, but it's just a regular desert.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hard to judge it from just that trailer. I think the trailer looks a lot like Blade Runner, to be honest. I know it's because it's the same director, as the Blade Runner 2084 or whatever, 2048, whatever that movie was.
Yes.
So it definitely reminds me of that visually, like the same color gradation, stuff like that. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to see more of it to really judge. The Sandworm is more accurate to the book, I can tell you that.
Okay, then.
Yeah, it's more because you know what the old ones look like with that sort of triple wedged mouth that opens. Like this one is closer, yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to say. I don't know. There really hasn't been very much in the way of Dune related like franchises, you know. Not really. Like usually, I mean, because with everything else, there's usually like comics and TV shows and stuff, other interpretations of the franchise, and Dune hasn't really gotten very much. One TV show, one movie. It's pretty much it, you know.
Yeah, has there been like comic books based on the, or even those have been kind of rare?
Not that I know of. I know there's like movie adaptions, but I don't think there's ever been like comics set in the Dune universe.
Okay. Or like grand graphic novels based on the books themselves.
No.
Okay.
Not that I know of. I mean, no, there hasn't been anything like that, which is kind of too bad, you know.
Yeah, it is. It
like,
does.
There's no extended universe. Put it that way. There's no extended Dune universe.
Yeah, it's probably better for that because it's like we already have more novels written outside the original author, but at the same time, I feel like an extended universe would just kind of clog things up.
Yeah.
So, and we'd end up with a situation like the Star Wars Legends, like, oh, throw it all in this dumpster that says, oh, this isn't real. These are all myths. So,
and then it gets all confusing and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they cherry pick what they want to bring back, and when they do, it's sometimes it's baffling. Like, why would you bring back the Bucky O'Hara ripoff from the comics that was never meant to show up again? I don't know.
Wait, really? So the green bunny rabbit pistol dude is like canon now?
It's been re brought back into the franchise as canon.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So as well as that ridiculous martial arts that regular people can use against Force users.
Terrace Cressy. Okay,
Yeah.
now that I was actually surprised because I have that game. So that was introduced in a PlayStation 1 game, which was a Star Wars fighting game, so they needed an excuse to have Luke Skywalker fight Han Solo, you know, or to have like Chewbacca fight Princess Leia or whatever. So the whole plot was like, okay, we're training on Terra Cressy or whatever the name is.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. It's a silly fighting game. You really don't need to go crazy with the explanations. Just have Han Solo just be very good at shooting a laser gun and punching people.
I mean, it's a horrible game, though. I don't know if you've ever played it. It sucks ass. It sucks. It's horrible.
Yeah.
There was a Star Wars Twisted Metal ripoff, which was like actually pretty good on the PlayStation 1. And it was cool because you could be Boba Fett, like flying around and like shooting things. Like,
right.
You ever play Twisted Metal? It's basically like.
Well, you know me. I don't do video games, so I'm more than aware of what Twisted Metal is.
You know, Twisted Metal is same kind of thing. Vehicle combat, shoot 'em up kind of thing. You know, but you could be Boba Fett flying around with the jetpack and shooting stuff. That made the game worth it. The rest of the stuff was just stupid, but. Yeah. Right.
Well, like the weird part where Max Rebo has to drive a taxi to get Jawas to where they need to be, and it's like Crazy Taxi. So.
Well, there's been a lot of like bizarre Star Wars games, you know, out there. Lego Star Wars and Yoda stories and
right. Emperor Palpatine has a foot rash.
Some of them are pretty good though.
Right.
The pod racer ones from like N64, those were good. You know, way back in the day. But I haven't actually played any of the recent ones. The last two game console generations I've kind of missed out on. Like I have a PS4 and I have like maybe like 3 games for it, and I haven't played any of them. I use the PS4 more to watch Netflix than I do to play games. You know, like I do play a lot of Switch games though. That's what I've been buying. You know, because it's just better. I don't know. But yeah, like I never even bought an Xbox One. I don't know. Maybe I'll get it when they go on sale. Maybe I'll pick one up, because my game collection is sort of gathering dust here. You know, like I've started to like play through the collection for the channel. That's my plan. My plan is to I have to get a capture box so that I can like hook up my actual hardware to the computer and do a stream, so that way I can like, because I have all these video games, like a lot of them I've never even played before, and it'd be a good excuse to go through and play them all so that I can like do it online and stuff. But anyway, Yeah, man. I don't know. Like this year, dude. I know it's kind of sucks because all the movies that were supposed to come out like got pushed back. So I haven't even like been keeping up with what's even out there or available. You know, like it's like last year almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm writing something. I'm not very good at multitasking.
Multitasking.
Yeah. Okay.
There's some more questions in your in the stream here.
Right. Yeah, asking what the heck is with the current live card on the live stream. So.
Oh, what is that?
Oh, that's the main villains from Car Ranger.
Sentai Gekiso Sentai Car Ranger. Oh, okay, that's Car Ranger.
Yeah, it was the 20th production in the Super Sentai series, and it's what Power Rangers Turbo is based on.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
but the original series is it's surprisingly funny and even kind of bizarrely clever for its own right. And it's the reason I made this is because apparently the next Fast and Furious movie is supposed to take place in space, even if it's just for a little while. I don't know how
Wait. First off, so is that the 9th movie now in the Fast and Furious franchise here?
I believe it is. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, 9 of those fucking things? Okay.
Yeah, not counting the spin-off with The Rock and Jason Statham. So.
Wait, what was the spin-off?
I don't. Is those Hobbs or something? Hold on. Let me bring up. We got a Fast and the Furious.
Yeah. You know what? Let me just go to Wikipedia here and look up.
Yeah, you do that.
Yeah, Fast and. So wait, now they're gonna be in space?
That's the rumors. Apparently, the next movie, F9, is what they're calling it, is going to take place in space. Although they say it's going to be quote unquote realistic, they're just going to go in outer space for a little bit. So
okay, so 9 films plus Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, and then untitled female-led film, and then another Hobbs and Shaw sequel. Mm. Jesus Christ! Why? Are they? I've never seen any of these. Are they that good?
No, I've never seen them any. Well, here's the thing: it's a Hollywood movie, so if it makes money, they're going to make a sequel regardless.
I mean, somebody has to be watching these fucking things, right? I mean,
yeah.
Seriously, if they're making 9 of these movies, it's either that or it's like these movies are tax write-offs. I mean, maybe that's it.
No, they make a lot of money.
No, we need to lose $100 million for tax reasons. Let's make another movie with The Rock about race cars that blow up. I mean,
yeah, no, anyway. They make a lot of money, so they keep making these movies. And it's funny, too, because they start out as fairly low-budget affairs, but like around the 4th movie, they were bringing in so much cash that it basically became a movie equivalent of a long-running TV show.
Right.
So we got basically 10 films. I'm including the spin-off with Hobbs and Shaw. And yeah, supposedly the next one has either takes place in space or there's going to be a little bit of space faring in it. I'm thinking that they're going to try to justify it as like a car that gets really high up due to a space shuttle launch. But then they go back to Earth just before they break the atmosphere. But
I think they like do donuts in space with the freaking space shuttle. Is that what's going to happen?
Right. They're driving a space truck, fighting the space truckers and Jason X.
Oh my god.
All right. And
all right. No, wait. I can see it. Okay, the space shuttle gets hijacked
by German terrorists.
It's taking off. Terrorists have hijacked the space shuttle, and they're going to drop virus bombs on the Earth or some stupid thing like that.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to catch it, they have to get a Ferrari and go up a ramp and jump off of the ramp and then make the Ferrari crash into the space shuttle like in midair or something, so that they can grab onto the side of it with magnets and hang on and break into the space shuttle. And that's going to be the plot. It's like, okay, we have to hijack the space shuttle. And we can only do it with really souped up fast race cars.
I can see oh damn it, what's the name of The Rock? His real name? Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne Johnson.
I can imagine Dwayne Johnson like coming into like the NASA control room dressed up as a woman. It's like, excuse me, I'm here to deliver today's secret figures, and it just starts beating the shit out of all the people. It's like, all right, now you're getting lunch.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. I'll join you. And then cut to like a motorcycle riding onto the top of the of the space shuttle as it's living in space.
Jesus Christ. Okay, I mean, maybe I should go watch it if everybody really likes them.
I don't.
Maybe I'm missing a cultural phenomenon here, and I should go watch it.
No, like what is it? Okay, I'm gonna make a comparison. I know
fascinating.
it's really unfair because by all accounts, the Fast and the Furious movies that I've not seen are technically better than to the film series I'm about to mention.
Uh-huh.
But it's similar to those horrible Resident Evil movies.
Oh God!
They keep making them because they appeal to not very bright audiences, and they're very cheap to produce. And the Fast and the Furious is a little above that, but it's the same phenomenon, and that's why we're up to 10 movies right now.
It's funny you should mention that because I just got in the mail the complete Blu-ray collection for the Resident Evil movies.
Why? I hope
because it was on sale.
Okay, yeah. If you got it for like $2, I'd understand.
It was on sale, so I bought it, and because I didn't have the 6th one, so I don't know how the saga ends. Right. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just buy all of them on Blu-ray.
Right.
I don't know. I admit, I like cheap, cheesy action movies. I like stuff like that. So, what can I say? Underworld. You ever watch Underworld? Vampires versus werewolves.
Yeah. Like, oh my god.
Even though none of them are any good except for the first one, but I still think they're it's entertaining, to watch vampires do kung fu and run on the ceiling and shoot at each other with glowing sunburst bullets and shit like that. It's fun. So yeah, I don't know. I like the Resident Evil movies, even though they're really horrible and they have nothing to do with the games. So, do you ever see Ultraviolet with God, what the hell was her name? It was the same actress that's in Resident
Mila
Evil.
Jovovich.
Yeah, Mila Jovovich.
Yeah,
you ever watch Ultraviolet?
Isn't she like a weird vampire Matrix thing going on there?
Yeah, it's definitely a Matrix ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
It has what is probably the worst CG ever. So there's a part in this movie. So basically, the whole thing, she's a badass action woman who beats people up and does karate, blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's essentially a Matrix ripoff. And there's this part where she has this motorcycle that can drive on walls. It uses magnets somehow, or artificial gravity or something to drive on the side of buildings.
Yeah.
And being chased by a helicopter. And that sequence is the crappiest CG that has ever been put to film. It's so bad. Just look it up on YouTube. It's it looks like something you could do in After Effects. It's so horrible.
Oh my goodness.
It's kind of thing if you saw it in someone just made a crappy YouTube video, you'd be like, oh, that's funny. You'd laugh at it because it's so bad. And this was, and it's she's riding the side of skyscrapers, and then she I don't know, leaps and shoots a guy through the middle of a helicopter and it explodes and all this other crap. It's ridiculous,
Yeah, it's
it's the best movie ever. If you haven't seen Violet, it's so.
Okay, you say that about a lot of horrible movies.
I like crappy movies, man.
I know. I have a slight less tolerance for crappy movies, but with that says though, it is kind of sad that these movies are lowest common denominators for audience members who don't really think too much. What is it? They say the only reason vampire movies are popular with people who don't like monster movies, because vampires are right up there with zombies as the easiest creatures you can add to the screen, and it's and they're 100% human looking, so it's you're not going to scare the straights with your imaginative creature designs. But
right.
I don't know. I know people have a soft spot for them, but they really are kind of insulting in some of the ideas. Especially, I've seen enough of the Resident Evil movies to know I can't stand how they always end on a really cool cliffhanger, and then like the X-Men movies, they tie up loose ends in the first 5 minutes and then go on repeating the same movie over and over again.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's like, and that probably explains the
like
success of the X-Men movies too. Granted, there were some good ones. I'm a huge fan of the 2 Deadpool movies. I really liked actually, I was okay with Logan, but I really liked Wolverine Go to Japan. But at the same time, it's I don't know they're all the same title: Wolverine.
The Wolverine.
Yeah, but I don't know. So
that was a good one. You know, I think what that series, just the X-Men movies in general,
mm-hmm.
it kind of suffered from a lack of foresight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a plan for those. Like, see, the thing is, everybody is like, okay, why did the Marvel Cinematic Universe do so well,
mm-hmm.
right? Because they kind of planned out, you know, they planned it all out like 8 movies in advance, what's going to happen. So Thanos is introduced, you know, in 2012, and he doesn't show up until 2019.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, they planned, you know, and so when you have it planned like that, they go, okay, well, now we can introduce this character. Like Black Widow is introduced in Iron Man 2.
Mm-hmm.
And she doesn't, you know, she only really shows up in the Avengers movies and a couple of other ones. You know, I think she was in Captain America Civil War, stuff like that. But by the point where she finally dies, she's like not just a series regular, but like the audience has like kind of bonded with this character. You know what I mean? Like they've seen this character in like 8 films by now, you know, and they've really gotten an emotional attachment with her. So when she finally like bites the big one, it means something. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So what happens is, like, especially like, say for example, the DC movies that try to emulate that. You know, they kill Superman in Batman v Superman, right?
Yes.
And it's like nobody cares. It doesn't have that same emotional weight, gravitas, I guess, or whatever the hell, you know. It doesn't. You don't feel it. You know what I mean? Because this character has only been around for 1 movie so far, and it's kind of like they're just shoehorning it in because that's part of the story, but they didn't approach it the right way, and they didn't give you a chance to bond or create any kind of like emotional like investment in the character. So when Superman dies and then comes back the very next movie, you know, it feels cheap, right?
Right.
But, like, for instance, like when in Infinity War, when Gamora dies, you know, it's like a major thing, and like I'm looking around, people are crying in the theater, you know, when that happened, right? And I'm like, damn, like people are crying because of a comic book movie. And then, you know, she comes back the next movie, she isn't really revived, it's just like her from another timeline or whatever.
Uh-huh.
You know. And then when she like kicks Star-Lord in the nuts or whatever, it's hilarious because you're expecting them to like run and start kissing and all that. Then she just like totally just hits him in the nads and he falls over. And
right,
like,
right.
You know what I mean? And it just has that, you know, because the audience has developed feelings for these characters. You know what I mean? And that's the same problem in the X-Men movies, is that the only character you care about is Wolverine. And then maybe like Patrick Stewart a little bit. Professor X. Like, that's it. Those are the only ones you really give a shit about. And then, so when in X3, when Cyclops dies, it's like, oh, wow, that sucks. Who cares? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't really, they weren't planning it. They didn't plan it, you know? Like, they just sort of winged it, you know, movie by movie. And then when it looked like they did set up stuff, they never followed through on it.
They either didn't follow through with it, or when they gave the keys to someone else, they threw the keys into the garbage. Like, like what is it? I generally like the mutants they introduced in First Class, and then when Bryan Singer grabbed his toy box back, what's the first thing he does? Every cast member from New Class got killed off, with the exception of Xavier and Magneto, and that's like,
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like that sucked too. That's like literally just taking a crap upon whatever. It was even worse than when poor Newt died at the beginning of Alien 3.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
and it's not only that, not only was it because the current director and the current writers didn't really care about the previous movie, but even if they did or were given a crash course on what happened last time, they didn't care because it's like a lot of these Hollywood movies without a bigger overarching plan, or even comic books for that matter, where there's constantly a new editor every issue. It's like a really shitty game of roundabout with that one annoying kid who it's like, oh, we're not spacemen anymore, we're knights, and I'm invincible.
Yeah, someone who just changes the story. Like
Yeah.
they did that a lot. Like they in one of the movies they try to set up Mr. Sinister, and then
Yeah.
the next movie completely ignores that.
Uh-huh.
And then Patrick Stewart's character, like I don't know, there was a lot of stuff. Wolverine's claws get chopped off, and then their bones, and then in the next movie they're metal again. It's like what?
Oh, God. And
Then,
that's
no.
God. Another thing is because this was a Fox 11 joint or 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
And don't give me that, like, nobody in the chat give me that Disney crap, because this was well before Disney bought it. They always constantly chased the same trends of what they thought would make them money. So hence, you have that embarrassing sequence in X-Men Apocalypse where the mansion blows up, but instead of everyone gathering together or going after Apocalypse, suddenly Stryker from X-Men 2, babyface Stryker, shows up, kidnaps everybody, and we get a extremely forced cameo from Wolverine.
Exactly.
Yeah,
What does that mean?
I know that would be like if we were watching. That would be like if you were watching a Superman movie and they just shoved Batman into it. Oh wait.
Yeah, like they just had to because it wouldn't be an X-Men movie without Hugh Jackman in it.
Mm-hmm.
That way they can get him in the they can get him in the credits or whatnot.
Yeah, I don't. It's like, and not only that, but like, what really annoys me is a lot of the people who defend the X-Men movies are people who have no idea who the hell the X-Men were outside of the movies. Because the comic books and even the animated series, as grim and as social wary as they were still fun. They were still colorful adventure stories with a lot of really cool characters that out in and outside of Wolverine. And then you go to the movies and it's just Wolverine, Magneto, Professor Xavier, a bunch of cameos, and maybe Jean Grey looking sad. So
Yeah, like the comics are the X-Men comics are some of the best comics ever, Especially from like the 80s, like those are like must reads. I mean, if you're a Marvel fan, there's a lot of like Chris Claremont's run on the X-Men, and New Mutants and all that stuff. They're like really good. So definitely recommend reading all those. Like the X-Men were like the rest of Marvel at the time was much more goofy. Like you had stuff like when like the X-Men would be talking about discrimination and like stuff like that. And and there'd be characters like having like lots of drama and that kind of thing. Like while that's happening, like Captain America on his side is turning into a werewolf. Spider-Man is like has this clone that's going on for like 8 years.
Yeah,
I mean,
which is another example of people not knowing what the hell to do. The Clone Saga. That's a different podcast.
The difference, just in the comics back then, the difference was like almost night and day. You know what I mean? And you didn't see that level of writing in comics for like another 15 years or so. Seriously, like, because I remember, like, because I used to buy Marvel almost exclusively when I was a kid.
Right.
And I read a lot of X-Men just because it was more interesting and better written. Like I didn't read like stuff like the Fantastic Four. Like back in like the 80s and 90s, Fantastic Four was stupid. It was just it was dumb, dude. It was like
it was
rubber guy.
It was the poor man's version of the 1960s Fantastic Four.
Yeah. And it's like, here's a stretch, and like
Just
Spraying man, orange rocks fighting the mole man. It was fucking dumb.
right.
But or other stuff like the Hulk was okay. I mean, I read the Hulk a lot, but really the X-Men was kind of where it was at. Like X-Men and Punisher they were just on another level, you know. And like even DC didn't have anything to that point. I mean, I guess maybe with the exception of Batman. Batman was kind of a higher level too, but that was really the only DC comic I ever read as a kid. I read a lot more now because actually Cammy's really into DC, so we have a lot of the graphic novels and stuff now. But
okay,
I never really liked stuff like Superman or whatever. I always thought that was kind of like meh.
Yeah, well, that's another. Yeah, well, here's the thing about the thing about comic books I never could get into, and I know these characters more through trading cards and standalone graphic novels and the cartoon series, is that first off, the continuity is all over the place. And it's not just the fault because these are long-running series with like 100 issues per characters. It's also, again, a lot of them suffer from a lot of editorial problems. Like there's always a new editor that comes in. Or worse, the writers they put on certain books don't give a crap about this character. This person rather be writing about Batman, but instead he's stuck on a Wonder Woman book.
Right.
And of course it shows. You just have to see Frank Miller's later works or more recent works to get a good idea of that. How's that like? Or it's like, or worse. Like, what is that? DC, it's well known and infamous that none of the editors or writers are allowed to talk to each other, especially if they're doing crossovers, because for some reason management feels it's more pure storytelling that way. It isn't. It's like, if everyone's doing a billion things and they're working on only 5 things, shouldn't they all have a meeting to know, who's working with who? And it's ridiculous. That's why a lot of the side issues that are related to bigger event comics feel so out of place, because they're literally out of place. And I don't know if it's the same problem with Marvel, but I know that's one of the reasons I couldn't really get into most comics. Although thankfully, the Chris Claremont era of X-Men was so iconic that even me and my brothers had a couple of comics at the age, especially the stories where they're underground fighting against the Morlocks, as well as the Sauron and the Dinosaur Island. So, the pterodactyl guy.
I think DC kind of gave up as far as continuity goes. Like they have this idea of hyper time, and officially, like the idea is that anything goes, and what doesn't fit happen in another universe. So I think like that's kind of their official policy, is like, if we want this story to be in universe, then it is. So they'll just like, that's why they'll have Batman today referencing like a story that happened in the 60s or whatever, like, or something like that. Or they'll pull up a character that was introduced in 1947 and then make him into something else. Like, I think that's kind of the thing. Marvel is a little more tighter. I noticed they have a lot of stories to explain continuity. So, because you'll get stuff like that, like, oh, this series couldn't have taken place during here because this character was off doing X, Y, Z. And then they'll have a couple of issues to kind of explain that. Oh, he was a guy from another universe, or oh, this is what happened, or blah, blah, blah. So they seem to kind of keep it a little tighter, but at the same time, I noticed in the last couple of years, they're kind of going the same way as with DC. Like, they just do whatever, and who cares, So, like, one issue where, like, Daredevil is, like, gets his sight back, and then another issue where he becomes, like, he gets, like, the eyes of, what's his name, the one, what's that one Norse god that can see everything?
Oh, Odin?
No, the one that was,
Himdall. Played
Himdall.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he gets the eyes of Himdall, and then, like, stuff like that. Like, I noticed that they kind of, they're kind of like doing that kind of thing and just not explaining how it happened. Just sort of like, if they want this character to develop somehow, then he'll just show up like that already. And then, like, but that's kind of the fun with comics, is to go back and read, like, if you're into it, or into a particular thing, and you're like, how did this happen? Then go track down the issues that explains it or whatever, so that's kind of like I don't even try to collect them all anymore. Like, I actually haven't really bought comics in a while because I have too many of them. Yeah. But I don't even try to, like, get the entire thing. I just sort of jump in wherever now and just enjoy it. And then, because you can read a lot of them online and stuff now. So if you want to like learn about it, you just go to the wiki, like that kind of thing. Like,
Yeah, the digital age has been a big help at trying to rediscover older comic issues because, again, there's so much of these, it's impossible to, where do you even begin printing wise? So.
Yeah, I think, what I mean, just, the best thing I think is just to just grab one and just jump in the middle and, and it's like anything else. It's like if you like it, you'll want to know more. So that'll motivate you to go buy like, the other graphic novel or, sign up for Marvel Unlimited and that way you can read them all for free or whatever. I guess it's not free. It's like $8 a month, something like that.
That's not bad if you have the complete collection at your fingertips. I might even join that just to check out all the old monster comics.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool. You get everything up until like a year and a half ago or something. Like, so all the way, like, yeah, you get like their entire back catalog, and I think DC has the same sort of thing going, so all these comics from like the last like 60 years you can just kind of read for free. It's kind of cool, but it's not exactly, but
better than nothing. So not to incriminate you or anything, but isn't there like other means to find comics online that you know of, like the Kiss anime of comics?
There's one called Zip Comic, which you can just read them. You can even download them if you want. And I wouldn't do that because that's wrong. There's all kinds of sites that you can like get all the stuff you want for free, pretty much. If you want to. There's also a lot that are public domain, like public domain comics. There's tons of them that you can just get, like all of the Gorgo and Conga ones from Charlton, and like Reptosaurus and stuff like that. Those are all public domain now, so you can just download those. A lot of those like 1950s monster horror sci-fi things, like the giant griffin is eating the Statue of Liberty and only I can stop it, stuff like that. All those are public domain now.
Okay.
Except for the ones that are owned by Marvel and DC, but so you can pretty much like get all those for free. Like even if you just go to like what is it, the Internet Archive or whatever. They have a lot of those. They have like tons and tons of comics for free there. So.
Okay.
Hey, I gotta get some water. Give me like 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
Okay, go ahead. I'll stay here and just talk with the audience. I was hoping this little sketch I did not too long ago would translate much better on the screen, but it's hard to read the small text, even though I'm using the largest version of this image. But this is basically my spoof design for your average Hollywood mecha, or a Hollywood hack, as its Jaeger name would be. And it's inspired by a lot of the cliches I can't stand about American robot design. And hold on, let me try to explain what's what. Hold on, I should bring up the original file itself, but I think I'll share it with Mark, and then we'll go over this horrible thing together, so you have a kind of good idea what the terrible joke is, and just get his opinion of it. But yeah, where did I get which file did I get this out of? Hold on. I know it's under Hollywood something. It was either that or some of my more risque artwork to post online. It's like, no, this is a family show, even though we were talking about the president dying earlier. I should not find that funny whatsoever. So, later in October, I'll be doing a live stream with Andres, aka Kaiju Noir, on his channel, and it's gonna be a Halloween live stream, and that's gonna be on the 31st with a bunch of friends, and I'm doing the title card for that. And I'm also
I'm back.
Hey there. I was just doing some announcements before you came back, but
Cool.
hold on, before we continue, I wanted did you see this image I shared with you? I want to get your opinion of it.
Average Hollywood mecha.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, nuclear weapons that can only be manually activated during suicide missions. Nice.
Right. Exactly. Do you want to read this for our audience before we continue, or do you want me
No,
to?
I can't. I can't really read it. Most of it. You can if you want. I
Okay.
like the balls hanging off there.
Okay. So I'll start clockwise, counterclockwise, I should say. No, I'll start clockwise. Okay, over on the machine gun on the right side, extremely limited amount of antiquated ammunition that will please the gun owners and male teenagers in the paying audience. Going down the atomic bomb on the back, thermonuclear weapon that can only be manually activated during suicide missions. Okay, going down to the
Is that like Pacific Rim right there?
yeah,
Like,
exactly. Or any movie. It's like, we have the Doomsday device that can only be activated because we don't have a remote control. All right. Oversized codpiece that the producers and or directed insisted upon, likely to compensate for the robot's nerdy design and the nature or the producer's director's own lack of personal design size. Okay. Okay, going down to the two hanging balls that has a joke on it. It says unneeded sight gag. Okay, we go lower to the weird looking.
oh right. Is that like from Transformers or whatever?
Yes, Transformers or even RoboJocks with the Russian mecha's chainsaw
Right.
dick.
Chainsaw groin attack. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so going down to the small xenomorph-like monster, we have extremely small monster threat that the audience can wrap their unimaginative heads around, that can destroy a giant monster with great ease, but will die instantly if hit with a smaller weapon, like a handheld pistol or a wooden bat operated by the lead female love interest. Okay. Next to the alien, we have haphazardly included / pointless entrance holes or doors for smaller monsters or regular human assassins can crawl into to murder the pilot or destroy the robot from within. Filmmakers will retcon these as exhaust ports years later after the fact when questioned. Okay, going up to the knees. All right, extremely weak, fragile knees of whom the opposing giant monster or a normal-sized toddler with a toothpick can easily tear apart. Okay, going up to the broken hand.
This is genius.
Thank you. Human-like robotic hand with opposable digits, but will fall apart if any pressure is applied. Will totally vaporize if used to punch something or used to rescue a doomed secondary character. Okay. Okay, now we're going to the little box underneath the cockpit. It says the main power source or / an engine of the whole robot out in front and easy for opponents to target and destroy. All right. to the glass cockpit. Easily breakable glass cockpit where you can see a A-list celebrity pilot. B to Z list actors get fuzzy but no less breakable glass cockpits. And last but not least, on the right shoulder, we have shoulder. Laser gun with unlimited power that easily overheats and breaks down, but the audience won't care because lasers are silly when compared to relatable bullets.
Dude, this is awesome.
Thank you. I hope I'm planning on getting this inked and colored for Kaijun, and I'm gonna rename it like Your Average Hollywood Mech, aka Hollywood Hack, which is it's Jaeger name.
You should do a whole series of these, man. Your average Hollywood monster, your average Hollywood action hero.
Mm-hmm.
You should do your average Japanese mech too.
Oh yeah, there's a lot.
Have like firing, rocket fists and stuff like that. And,
right. There's so many cliches. I know if I did the realistic mecha from the 80s, it would have like a bunch of loved ones wrapped up on it. So like loved ones who are destined to die to make the hero more dark. It's
got to have a laser sword that cuts all the Mook enemy mechas in half with one swipe. but can barely scratch the main boss enemy mecha. Like,
Yeah.
who knows?
But yeah, no, it's like I was like talking with my friend Jesse, and it's like he brought up a lot of the cliches we both hate about giant robots in Hollywood movies, and this is it. So, oh my goodness.
Totally.
Yeah. So, but I'm gonna get away from this guy and go back to the regular title card. So.
Your average asylum film.
Yeah, exactly.
Average Hollywood dinosaur would be neat. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that would be neat.
So your average Hollywood dinosaur would have a very loud scream, and would only be able to see you when you're moving.
Yeah, with like a ridiculously oversized head and incredibly sharp teeth, but like the small, like arms even more smaller than what a Tyrannosaurus had.
I mean, it can be like defeated by just freezing still, playing like red light green light defeats the monster. Just red light, green light. But wasn't there a Netflix show out with like Jurassic Park or something? I don't know. Have you seen it? I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I watched the full first season. Okay, I don't know if you saw the trailer for this, but everyone was fearing it to be like a sub-average Saturday morning, cartoon thing that they throw on Netflix all the time. And it's not as bad as we were expecting, but it's what we were expecting at the same time. Like a good example is the lead kids. They are kind of your like very flippant and annoying stereotypes that obviously an 80-year-old working in Hollywood would come up with. We need one girl to be an influencer. We need one kid to be a complete wuss. We need one kid to be a jerk. But thankfully, they have little elements to their character, actually a lot of elements to their characters that makes them endearing and goes against, like, the character who usually is sort of the rich jock asshole. He's more of a himbo. He's actually well-meaning, but he's still kind of a male bimbo in his own right. The nerd,
himbo. I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah,
male. Okay.
Yeah. And it's like the kid who is the weakling and afraid of everything. He understands that he has that unfortunate handicap to his character and actually comments on it several times, like how he actually wants to be better, and he actually tries at the end. So yeah, there's a lot of elements about it that kind of work, but at the same time, it's just above average of a Saturday morning Disney Channel show, and not one of the good ones that are funny or creative. And not only that, but because it's a CGI show, and clearly one that was done on the cheap from a foreign country, probably, and I say that because whenever we look at English text throughout the show, it's a bizarre alien language that I've seen a million times in like South Korean budgeted cartoon shows. And I don't want to say that because the South Koreans have been like kind of putting their game up recently as far as animation goes. But when it comes to the stuff they don't care about, yeah, all of a sudden English is transformed into like weird squiggly lines. Even more so than what we consider old cartoon language. But it's like it's one of those things where for Jurassic Park it's ridiculously sparse outside the dinosaurs. Like there's barely any humans around. And I know they make that recurring joke that the Jurassic Park the various Jurassic Parks are all horribly designed. And it's like obviously they cut a lot of corners here and there.
So is it like supposed to be in the same like continuity as the films?
Oh my god, it's taking place at the same time as Jurassic Park, the Jurassic World. In fact, yeah, like the first couple, like the first 4 episodes takes place literally 2 days before the Indominus Rex breaks out of its pen. And then the second half of the series is these kids trying to get, because they're basically at a summer camp located on the other side of the island. So the kids are trying to get onto the evacuation boats, even though they're far away and separated from the adults. And the Indominus, and we see sequences from Jurassic World play out, but from a distance. So like the helicopter crash into the dome full of pterodactyls. The park just emptied after the Indominus Rex caused all hell to be loose. So yeah, it takes place in the same continuity, and we even get an extended guest appearance from Dr. Wu, the evil geneticist behind Jurassic Park. But again,
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool. Like I said, it's better than what we expected, but not by much, I think is the best way to describe it. So go ahead and give it a watch. But it's like, I think it definitely gets better at the second half. And hopefully it's one of those shows that keeps improving with each season. But at the same time, it's like, I also made the joke, like, hey, this is the best season of King of the Apes we have ever gotten. Except there's no Kong. And they put a Jurassic Park bumper sticker over the title.
So is the animation kind of in the same vein as that?
Yes, very much in the same vein, especially with the human characters looking. Actually, the human characters I think look a lot better in Kong King of Skull Island, because it's like my friend Andres, who's a big Jurassic Park fan. He made the comment that the humans in this series, they look like Art Clokey human beings from an episode of Gumby.
Oh wow! Really?
Yeah. So they're not. They don't exactly look that good. But
I didn't. Speaking of the Kong show, I didn't really think it was that bad. I mean, I haven't watched the second season. I watched all the way up to where, they land in the God. I haven't finished watching the second season. Like, I started watching it. They go underground. They come back up. Some shit happens, but. I thought it was okay. I mean, it's most definitely a kid's show, you know. But I think if I was like 10 years old, I probably would be like a lot more into it, you know. Like, it's definitely written for children, you know. There's not a lot of depth or nuance or storytelling going on, you know. But for what it is, it's not too bad, you know. It's got the hero giant monkey fights dinosaurs and flies around with a jetpack. I mean. 10-year-old me is like all over that, you know.
I do have to admit there are some really cool elements about Kong King of the Apes that I do admire. I do I do love the idea that it's heroic King Kong with a rocket pack. You cannot like that. You might hate the show, but the image of just King Kong on a rocket pack fighting dinosaur robots, like, you really can't hate that. And some of the art direction is actually pretty good in the show, especially the first half of the second season, where Kong and his friends ends up in that subterranean dinosaur world, and they have some really inventive creature designs for the various dinosaurs, because they went the Peter Jackson route, where these are more fanciful dinosaurs, or what would happen if... Yeah, like the brachiosaurs are covered with moss and leaves, because they actually have plants growing out of their hides. That's how big they are. And and it's like, what is it? The Dilophosaurus has like glowing camouflage because it lives in a volcano area. So, as well as a couple like completely fictional stuff, like a gigantic dung beetle and giant killer toad monsters. So
I don't think I've gotten that far yet.
Yeah. No, I think you'd like the second season a lot more than the first season if you enjoyed the first season a lot. So.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of the second season. Like, they go underground, and there's, like, a city of apes or something. You know, something like that. I don't know. It's been a little while. But,
okay. By the way, we're reaching the 2-hour mark, and I usually get sleepy around 10. Do you want to call it quits, or you want to talk for another half an hour?
I'm awake if you're awake.
You know I'm going to be up, and I'm going to be up way into the wee hours of the morning.
I can go for a little while longer.
Okay, let's go for another 20 minutes. So, or at least till 10:15. But the end is. Yeah, I thought we were gonna have Brayton join us, but it looks like he's busy doing other things, and that's probably more than okay. And I don't want to bother Win or Andres either. So, although I did want to ask, did you? Oh, hold on. The Bizarre Kaiju guy says King Kong, King of the Apes, in comparison to the fine motion picture Ape. No. You and I watched Ape because we're going to do a video review. I don't know. Maybe we should still do like a little podcast. What did you think of Ape? Let's just give let's give the jerks in the chat area what they want. Let's talk about Ape for a little bit.
It's entering best movie ever territory.
What?
No. But you know what it is? It's funny. And by how cheap it is, you know, like there's one sequence where the ape is running through a city and smashing things, and you can tell that's where they spent all the money, was making the like, not even on the ape suit. The ape suit is just like some Halloween costume, like that they got from like the local costume renter place or whatever. There's like a 10-minute part where he's trashing, Seoul, South Korea, right?
Mm-hmm.
And models look halfway decent.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Everything else in this movie is like bargain basement, El Cheapo kind of, their budget was like $350 and a couple of bottle caps and like, some Kentucky Fried Chicken. That was like their budget.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the end, it's just, what happens, it just gets boring. You know what I mean? Like, it's so cheap, then it's not, like, funny or anything. Like, usually when you get really low-budget movies that know that they don't have any money, they just start having fun with it, and the actors, like, kind of ham it up, and they go for laughs, and it makes it entertaining, right? And, Tetsuo and the Iron Man, we got to talk about that next.
Oh, yeah, we will.
But yeah, this movie Ape it's just boring. Like the end part where the army's fighting them goes on for like 20 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
And it's not exciting or dynamic. And by the end, you just want it to end. You're like, okay, kill the goddamn ape already, like, And I don't know, like I was watching actually, what's that one guy that does the movie reviews that you do the title cards for?
Brendan Tenold?
Yeah, I watched his review of Ape, and it's absolutely right. Like there's 600 or 700 scenes where somebody's shoving something into the camera, like shoving a gun or the ape's throwing a barrel at the camera, like really like to overuse that 3D.
Yeah. To quote SCTV, would you like some pancakes?
Yeah. So
I'm putting pancakes
it's not
in the camera.
It's not a good movie.
Yeah.
Not a movie. I mean, I think it's one of those sort of like if you're into weird cinema or giant monster movies, like you owe it to yourself to watch it at least once to see how bad it is. Like, it's like a rite of passage kind of thing. Like, have you seen Ape? Oh my god, you gotta watch it. So,
What's sad is it's readily available on YouTube if you can find a free copy of it. And I know that Kino Labor, that lesser known DVD company, that's like they released like a Blu-ray remaster of the movie. So
oh really?
Yeah. So
no, I already spent money on this movie once. I don't know if I want to spend it again.
Yeah. What's great is I don't need Ape again in my life, but it's awesome that there's this service, this free streaming service called Canopy, which you can access if you have a library card, a Los Angeles library card. And they have the Kino Labor remastered version of Ape, so I just connected my DVD recorder, and it's like, boom, there, I got a copy. I'm done. I don't need this movie again. So
right on.
Yeah. I'll share the link to Canopy, but if you live in the Los Angeles area and you have a library card, you can access it and watch 10 movies a month. So
nice.
Yeah, and it's like a lot of Criterion stuff and like really highbrow stuff, like and it stays there for a long time too. So it's not like constantly going up and down like HBO Max, unfortunately. So
hey, I noticed somebody in the audience here mentioned Tetsuo the Iron Man. You ever seen that movie?
I saw it ages ago when I rented it from Blockbuster Video because me and Miguel were on a big cinema grotesque kick after Eraserhead, The Elephant Man, Jodorowsky, or whatever the name of the weird guy was who almost did his own movie.
Jodorowsky.
Yeah. Oh god damn it. Yeti. Okay, anyways, I'm not gonna. Since we're gonna probably end this in half an hour. Let's not watch any other movie things here. Questions in the chat, I mean. But I remember I actually did enjoy Tetsuo, even if it was my first introduction to sci-fi horror violence from Japan. Although comparison to something like Meat Machine and Tokyo Gore Police, it's extremely tame by comparison. Giant drill penis, regardless. But I haven't seen the movie since, and I haven't seen either the second or third sequel to the series. But tell us what you think of Tetsuo the Iron Man, Mark.
Well, I can tell you that the first one is much better than the sequels. I can tell you that. So this movie, was one that I discovered Right around, yeah, probably the late '90s, same sort of thing. Um, I got a used cop. So there used to be this video store in Hollywood called Psychotronic Video Store,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they had every weird ass bizarre movie that you could ever imagine, you know. And the thing is, I live kind of far away from there, so I would only go there once in a while. And a lot of the movies they had were just straight up bootlegs, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, for example, you'd walk in and there would be a section that just said prison movies, and it would be all these weird exploitation movies from the '70s about prisons and stuff like that.
Birds in
Also,
a cage
she-
waiting to break out.
Yeah, Penitentiary 3, you know,
Mhm.
or Elsa the she-wolf of the SS or some shit like that. You know, all these like
Nazi
So-
prison babes versus bat monsters.
totally,
Roger Corbin presents.
totally. So they had, you know, so since I lived kind of far away from there, I didn't rent stuff. I just would buy things, you know, when they would have things on sale.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a bootleg copy of Tetsuo the Iron Man, and I heard about it on some board way back in the day. This is because this is before, you know, Web 2.0, so it was all bulletin boards and chat rooms and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is even before like MySpace. This is how far away this was, long ago this was, right? You know, this is like in the freaking AOL days.
Mhm.
So I'd never actually seen it. I just saw a couple of pictures and read that it was weird. So I bought this bootleg movie, and it was, I don't know. I think I watched it like 50 times. Like it was really just because I had to show it to every person I knew because I'd never seen anything like it before.
Mm-hmm.
And that movie has like all of 8 lines of dialogue. You know, so it's not like there's a lot of Japanese to even figure out. Like the copy I had didn't have subtitles, so we didn't even know what they were saying.
Mm.
Yeah, but it's not like there was this huge. Now there actually is a plot to that movie, like that makes sense
Mm-hmm.
upon repeated viewings, right? But you know, the first time you watch it, you're like, "What the fuck am I watching? This doesn't make any sense." You know, like guy
Mhm.
hit by a car and he puts a metal bar in his leg, and then there's maggots and. You know, girl pops her own boob, and you're just like, ah, like, so anyway,
What
yeah,
fun.
I have it, I've watched it a lot. I actually really liked it, you know, just because I was like into that, you know, industrial music and all that kind of shit back then, right?
Mm-hmm.
The sequel to it is Body Hammer,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually in color, and it has dialogue and a plot, so it's not as good. Right. And it's I don't think it's connected. You know, the first one does have somewhat of a plot. It's a very bizarre plot, you know, but it has this sort of like very, you know, the guy gets hit by someone, and what it is like this dude is trying to become a strong runner,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and he gets hit by a car, and it just happens that the people that hit him were like having sex in the car when they hit him,
Right.
right? And that's why he like wants to like get revenge on them, and you know, the second one is much more of like a live action anime almost,
Mm-hmm.
like still has that sort of weird body horror transformation stuff going on, but
Mhm.
there's a much more coherent plot and a hero and a villain and all that. And then the third one is just like a 2-hour long music video that doesn't make any sense at all. Like, I actually have it on DVD, and it's not even close to it's trying to be a remake of the first movie, and it's just not. It's not even close. It looks like a student film, the third one. It looks like a guy made it for like, and I'm not saying it's a bad movie. Maybe I should watch it again, but it just didn't grab me the same way. You know, there's lots of that shaky cam where like stuff you can't focus on anything. Lots of scenes of like the main character running across like ceilings, but he's like blurred, so you can't tell exactly what's happening. Like, it has an awesome soundtrack. Like Nine Inch Nails did one of the music to it. Trent Reznor, the guy, not as Nine Inch Nails, but Trent Reznor did like the theme song to the third Tetsuo movie. So, yeah, it's like, and the thing is, none of them are connected to each other, so it's not like there's some kind of overarching story. It's just 3 movies with similar themes, So I don't know. Some of his other work, like that same director, made a couple of other movies, like one about this boxer. I've never actually seen that. That's one of those ones I'm trying to track down, actually. Like
Tokyo Fist is what.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Arrow Video, both unfortunately, they had a Solid Metal Nightmares, the films of Tatsu Komodo, the director of the Tetsu movies, and it had Tetsu the Iron Man, Tetsu Body Hammer, Tokyo Fist, Bullet Ballet, The Snake of June, Vital, Kitoko, Killing, and The Adventure of Dunsha Kozo and Heisei. And
I haven't never heard of any of those other ones.
Yeah,
I've heard.
And it was an impressive box set that they released a couple of months ago. Unfortunately, it was a limited edition one, so it's already out of stock. And it's like, if you want to buy it off Amazon, it's going to be $100. So, but yeah, that's unfortunately. I know I'm finally getting my Gamera box set. It's coming through Amazon this Wednesday. So.
Oh, you haven't got it yet?
No, because it basically sold out the less than 2 days after I ordered it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you just have it on back order?
Yeah, I have it on back order, and supposedly it's coming in Wednesday. But that's the shitty thing about some of these brand new kaiju releases. They just make limited numbers. Like, I was lucky to get Yeti Giant of the 20th Century, the Blu-ray re-edition. But then again, that movie's so unpopular that I got it from a secondhand shop, and it was like, oh, good. So, especially since I didn't want to order directly from Code Red Media, since they're kind of jerks to me when I ask questions about the set. It's like...
So, wait. Sorry, dude. So the Gamera set, are they going to release another run of that?
They are, but it's just going to be...
I asked because, like an idiot, when you told me to buy it, I didn't buy it. So... Because I have all the movies already, and I was like, oh, do I really need this?
Oh.
And then I saw all the stuff that...
I told you that it was going to be filled with extras, and it was a remastered blue set, and...
Yeah, and I'm like slapping myself on the head for not taking advantage of that. I kind of really want that comic book that comes with it.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, the good news is they're gonna do a second release, but it's only going to be the movies alone, and none of the books or the. Listen, when this coronavirus thing dies down, you're welcome to scan my book for yourself. Okay.
Oh well. That's
too
bad.
I just barely. Yeah, I'm sorry, dude.
Sorry, I didn't listen. I should have listened when I had the chance.
Yeah, I thought I made it clear. Like, it's like, dude, look at all this stuff that's coming on this thing.
I didn't listen.
Right. It's
no.
Yeah, it's like,
you know why? Because when that happened, when you first told me, I didn't have a job at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna buy it, but then when it finally did come out, it's like I just got a job like right before, so I only had like 2 paychecks, and I was like, should I spend $100 on movies I already have? Like,
yeah.
But now I'm just like, damn it.
That's well. Look on the bright side. When it gets re-released, you'll still have all the extras on the Blu-ray. You just won't have the giant package and the extra comic book that comes with it. So
that's the stuff I want, man.
Yeah.
Whatever. Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's cool.
Actually, I have a friend who's thinking of getting rid of his Gamera set later on when the re-release comes out, because he really does. He really hates a certain artist who worked on that comic, and he really doesn't want to keep a hold of it. I'll keep you in mind so you can get the full set later in the future, hopefully.
Is your friend not like Matt Frank or something?
I'm not going to name names, but my friend is the kind of guy who just wants the movie itself and looks at everything else as just kind of unwanted merch, basically. So he got his box set. He didn't like how big it was, and not only that, but he really hated one of the artists in the comic, we'll just say. And
Tell your friend I'll take it off his hands for him.
okay then, yeah, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, you might get your own box set later. So, and he's a pretty cool guy, so he probably won't sell it for like $300 like some of the other secondhand sellers on eBay right now. So
For those of you at home on the stream, me and Raph have actually hung out with Matt Frank a couple of times at cons and stuff like that. He's a really cool guy. In fact, we even after the Power Morphicon last year, we even went and got sushi.
oh yeah, that's right.
If you remember, it was me, you, him, and then that other guy who did what was that? That other guy was a storyboard artist.
He's a part-time storyboard artist, but he's an artist known as No Backstreet Boys on DeviantArt. But it's like, hold on, I'll get his real name, because yeah, he was a really cool guy, and I'm still in contact with him. Larry Quach is his name.
Right,
so
right.
Quachh. And yeah, that was a really, really good time. In fact, I'm gonna share Larry Quach's or No Backstreet Boys art station page in the comment section.
You guys at home, Inshoma here knows all the awesome people in Hollywood. he has celebrity friends.
Yes.
I only know these guys because of him. I don't, I'm nobody. Raph actually has like famous friends and stuff.
You don't. I'm not. I don't want to eat humble pie, but I'm not that spectacular. So yeah, it's like I'm just fortunate to know these people through DeviantArt and Facebook. But yeah, Larry Quach is an up and coming artist, and yeah, this is his ArtStation website. If you guys want to visit it, he does some really good stuff, and he even did the book cover for Kaiju Noir's book recently. So
right on.
Yeah, so sorry about that. My throat is parched, so I might have to. I'll either gonna give you. I don't know how long. What time is it? It's 10:09. Actually, I think we'll end it a little early tonight, because I don't think I can go, because I already did that long late night thing with my other friends last night, and this was just an experiment to see what we can. But yeah, don't worry. There's a good chance you might get your box set in the future. So.
Okay, well,
Yeah. And if not, then I'll be happy to let you borrow it for like a month, and you can scan it to your heart's content.
Just come over and read it. That's all.
Oh yeah, but it's like, what is it? Disc 1 with Gamera the Giant Monster. It was a high definition transfer of Gamera the Giant Monster, as well as an improved version of the American recut Gamera the Invincible. Remembering the Gamera series archive featurette from 19... No, never mind. I'm just breaking your heart right now. Never mind.
It's all right.
That's okay. So,
right.
But it's funny. It's like, what is it? I got the Blu-ray to Yeti Giant of the 20th Century, which is like one of the better King Kong ripoffs from the 1970s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they released a beautiful Blu-ray version of it from Code Red Films. But it's like, I directly contacted Code Red Films to find out if there was going to be any extras on this, or if it was just a bare bone release. And I won't get into detail, but whoever they got doing customer service sucks, because he basically belittled and mocked me for even asking such a stupid question without answering the question. And it's like, well, fuck this. I'm not going to order directly from your site to get this limited edition Blu-ray. And thankfully, I got it from somebody who was selling off eBay who had similar experiences with the customer service. So I kind of won evilly. Right. So, okay.
Right on. Hey, someone's offering to pay you money here, man.
Who is it? And Shoma, how would someone pay you to cameo in a video? Well, I even though when I would say I would do it for free, I do appreciate the commission, and I won't ask for much. So if you wanna, if you want, you can go ahead and contact. Let me see if you can contact me by email through my YouTube site. And I would just say that, because I don't want to be sharing my YouTube. Like, I recently got Surfshark VPN, but I don't want. No, I shouldn't have said that out loud. God damn it! And the keys to my front house is underneath the carpet. Yeah. Yeah,
I think you can private message people through YouTube, can't you?
Yeah. Actually, if you go to my YouTube page to the About section, you can contact me by email, or you can visit me by my Facebook, DeviantArt, and Shoma Corner. So talk to me further if you want me to do an appearance in your video, and I can either show up as The Crimson Weirdo, or Detective Done of a Corruption. So,
Cool.
yeah, so, but no, I honestly miss you, dude. I miss coming up and hanging out with you guys. Bringing coupons from Subway.
Totally.
It's
Yeah,
like,
man, I really, really, really want to go to the goddamn movies again.
Mhm.
I think once all of this is over,
Mhm.
and you know, and like new infections are down to a rate to where they deem it safe for us to go out again, like that's gonna be the first thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go get sushi, and I'm gonna eat sushi in a restaurant, right? And then I'm gonna go to the movies and watch something, and I don't even care what movie it is.
What was
You
that?
know?
What was that really cool sushi place we went to the last time? The one where I ordered chicken on the side and didn't realize I was getting a whole platter of chicken.
Oh God.
It was what your two friends recommended too.
It was King Kong Sushi.
Like King Kong
Yeah.
sushi?
That's what it was called. Yeah. That's
Are you
where we went.
serious?
That's where we went. Yeah, I remember that. And you got a big ass thing of chicken.
Yeah, crazy King Kong sushi.
Crazy King Kong Sushi.
Oh, they're still open. They have takeout and delivery. So
Yep.
yeah, hold on. Let me. This place is great because, yeah, this place was really good. I ordered some chicken. Like they make big servings. I ordered
Yep.
some chicken on the side, and it was like a lot of chicken. Although we might be mistaken because this place has a bunch of fake like stuffed fish hanging on the wall, and I don't remember that last time. So
I think that was the place, right?
yeah,
I don't know.
let me see if the street view, because the street view is like the best. No. I need. Hold on. Okay, we might be talking about two separate places because this looks like it was next to a mini mall. I remember it being in a small strip mall area. It wasn't next to a Petco or anything.
It was either that or there's another place called Sushi Sue.
It may have been Sushi Sue. Okay.
That place is pretty good too. So.
Wait a minute. Sushi Sue isn't the one next to the regional theater, is it?
Yeah, that's the one.
No, that's not what I'm thinking. It probably is Crazy King Kong Sushi. Sushi Sue isn't half bad either, but no, the one where I got the large plate of chicken, that was really, that was like a lot for your money.
Oh, I don't know then.
Okay.
Have to, was it one that had one of those cooks that like chop everything up right in front of you and cook it?
No, I don't know. It wasn't. I think they cook it elsewhere and then they bring it to you. But
okay.
Crazy King Kong Sushi, Thousand Oaks. Okay, but you
I don't know, man.
Yeah, but you can order and do delivery from them. So
it's not the same. Like ordering sushi and eating it at home is like the whole reason you go out is for the atmosphere and to have fun. You know what I mean? Like, which is fine, but it's kind of like eating ice cream at an ice cream parlor versus like at home. You don't get the same like experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. That's just I don't know. I know that I'm not the only one that's getting a little stir crazy, at least. I mean,
oh my god!
But pretty soon, I'm sure it'll all be fine. Hopefully, by this time next year.
Right. Okay. I'm not going to go into detail for obvious reason, but I just before the lockdown began and this whole horrible year really kicked off in March, I signed up with Tinder for non-romantic reasons, if you know what I mean. And I actually had somebody who was interested in activities. Unfortunately, yeah, if you know what I mean. But then unfortunately this happened and she decided to move with her family in Utah. So and it sucks. And it was like, and she was a gorgeous older brunette, and it was like, oh my god, it's
I can't even imagine trying to date during COVID-19.
Well, again, it wasn't romantic, so it wasn't dating. It was something you know what Tinder's used for.
Exactly, but I mean, seriously though, like it's hard enough when there's not a disease that'll kill you. You know what I'm saying? So that, like, how do you even meet someone, and then, like, do you have to go get tests first before you, like, get freaky? Like, I don't even know. I can't. I'm very, like, wow. So glad that I'm married right now. Actually, now that I think about it,
Oh yeah.
that's gotta suck. That's gonna be tough because it's like
Don't remind me.
can't even like. I don't even want to start thinking about that
Mhm.
being single during all this. Jeez, that's gotta suck.
Yeah.
But cool. Well, no, hey, that's you just got to keep at it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
kids today don't know how good they got it. They just have apps that they can go up and find people who are ready, willing, and able.
Okay.
Not like how it was back in the old days where you just had to over and over and over.
Guess who joined us at the last goddamn minute? You goddamn son of a.
Oh, is this Brighton?
Yes.
Hi, hello.
Brighton, how you doing, man?
Is this?
I'm wonderful. How are you two?
Is this?
It sounds like you're very well with the course of the conversation.
Cool. Yeah.
Is this
turning
by
into-
design, Brayton, or by accident? You showing up? When
No,
we
I
were
was on another call.
Oh.
I was busy.
Okay. Okay. I guess.
I was talking to the president.
How's he doing, Brayton?
You can fucking rot. No, I was just. I don't know.
I know. Isn't that just the most ironic like crap ever? It's like, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, if there's anybody that you could say "I told you so" to,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's many videos floating around of Trump's little I wear a mask when I need it, and then the what is it? Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Trump gets COVID.
Oh my
nah.
god.
Man.
But no, I'm fine. I'm keeping safe. But I think I tuned in at the right time. What's the conversation, Raph? What am I in for?
We're actually wrapping it up, but
Oh,
I almost hooked up with somebody just before the COVID lockdown began, and not for
willingly?
Yes, willingly. I never shared this with anybody, but yeah, I signed up with Tinder based on a friend's recommendation, and somebody was interested in a non-romantic pairing, if you know what I mean, and I think you do, to quote Joe Bob Briggs. And then the lockdown happened, and in late March, she decided she's going to move back with her family in the middle of the States and stay away from the city. And it was like, oh God, and it was like, that's all I'm going to say.
That's just
You know-
horribly sad.
I
you know something. You just got to keep at it. And no, I'm serious. I met wife.
Get a
on-
van and a net.
And a club. And a Fred
I'm serious,
Flintstone
dude.
costume.
Like I met my wife on OkCupid. You know, I
Mhm.
mean, seriously. It's like
Yeah, but you
I'll
look.
tell you one thing though. I must have messaged like 500 women, like during that period.
Mhm.
Went on maybe like 6 dates. You know what I mean? So the percentage of people who actually get back to you is very small to begin with,
Right.
right? And and some women be lying. That's another thing too. They put pictures of themselves where they look way better than they do in real life, or
Mhm.
that kind of thing. And so you got to be prepared for that too. But you got to keep at it, dude. You can it'll pay off. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but like,
Can I message you on Tinder, Raph? I don't have an account.
you've
an
made
app?
it clear your thoughts towards me, Mr. Connor.
Sorry. I thought you didn't. You can do that on your computer? I thought that was simply like a phone app type thing.
No, you can do it on the computer, but like it's much more limiting from what I understand. And again, I didn't sign up to find romance.
Again, I have no use for it. I was just curious. I'm behind the times with the kids these days and their
Mhm.
newfangled. What were like the oldest sort of? I'm curious about that whole culture. What's like the oldest sort of dating website that kicked around back in the advent of the internet age?
Lower Expectations.
What? Was that a Mad TV sketch?
Yeah, it was a Mad TV sketch.
There's one called Plenty of Fish,
Oh, okay.
and then there's one called there's one that you have to pay for,
Mm-hmm.
which no one uses. I can't remember. God, what was it called? They used to advertise all the time. I can't remember.
Isn't there? Well, I know there's like OK Cupid or something.
That's the one that That's the one that I used and actually found my wife on that one. Yeah. So.
Ah,
Oh,
okay.
nice.
Oh yeah.
And you know what though? I'm not afraid to say that because the
Oh,
older
sure.
you get, the harder it is to meet people. Just people in general, it's harder to meet people.
Mhm.
You know, like seriously, like the older I get, the less interest I have in like making new friends. Like I just don't really care. You know what I mean? Like it's like whereas like if I were like 19 or 20 or something, I go, oh, who are those people over there? And then go introduce myself. And now it's like I don't give a fuck. Like you know what I mean? And that's how you meet. That's how you meet potential partners is by meeting friends and then meeting the people within their group. You know, and that's how you meet women, right? And the older you get, the harder it becomes because you become less social. So you just got to use the tools in your, use the tools you got, right? So I see like nothing wrong with like, dating on the internet. It's like shit.
Have you tried dating apps, Brayton, or you're not?
Oh no.
Okay.
Yeah, I see. I think you think you know me well, Raph, but you have like. If you ask my boyfriend about me, and even just my immediate family, people who know me, like in the real world, I am like a horribly neurotic nightmare of a human being. To where like I couldn't enforce that on some like a person I just know through the internet. So I don't look down on people about it. I just know for me personally, like for the other person, it would just be an absolute nightmare. So I. No, the people who've entered my web of lies in my real life friendship circle have been my past partners. So I don't think I'd have the I just don't like people all that much. So I don't think I would have the gumption to initiate anyway. Or have that self confidence even on the internet where there's that shield of anonymity or whatever.
Anonymity.
An enemy, and I don't know what the word is. Yeah. So no, I couldn't do that, and again, I wouldn't want to run the risk of being catfished. I've watched too many episodes of that show, so I don't want to run into a giant bearded Santa Claus man whose profile picture is that of like a 20-year-old Joseph Gordon-Levitt or something. I don't want to run the risks here.
Right.
That happened to me. Yeah, I went. There's a girl and we're chatting, blah blah blah, and I go and meet her, and the picture she used was from like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know why you would do that though. Like, because I don't know why you would even do that, because it's kind of like, what do you think's gonna happen? Like, there's the inevitable meeting.
Exactly. You got to be. If you're honest, then you'll get better results, right?
Yeah.
And that's just for anything. It's like, I mean, you put your best foot forward, obviously, but I'm not going to put some picture of my head photoshopped on like Arnold Schwarzenegger's body or something. Like,
and even if it's not like a bad looking person that you meet up with, it's still a breach of trust, like almost immediately. Because you've portrayed yourself as a totally different person. Exactly. So it's kind of like starting off on the wrong foot to begin with. But no, yeah, for me personally, and knowing like my personality type, it would have been a lose-lose scenario for anybody involved. But no, I'm happy now. I'm secure now, and I even stuff like eBay and stuff. I don't know if I just get antsy about putting myself out there. And for the internet to criticize or
you don't like interacting with people.
Yeah, I just don't. I don't know, and I don't mean it to be like mean or anything. I'm just not a real people person. So the less people I can interact with, that's why the lockdown has been a blessing for me, because I'm an introvert already. I don't like. I do have like there's an inch of me that misses going to places. But at the same time, I don't really like dealing with a large group of people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm like antisocial or I don't have social anxiety. It's just that I really don't know what the deal is. I don't like being in large groups of people at a time.
I can understand.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm okay. I'm sorry it didn't work out, Raph.
Well,
maybe next time.
Again,
I do have to say
again,
that,
guys, it wasn't for sincere
I
romantic
know, which makes it
reasons.
horrible and gross and wrong. And why would you do that?
I think
You
that's
know
awesome.
why? I need to dip the doohickey.
I don't know. I'm behind you 100%, Raph. I
Right.
think it's awesome, and I think you should do more.
It's like, no, like I look forward to this.
You
whole
don't know
thing.
what people have, Raph. You can't take your chances like that.
Brayton, that's why they invented mace. Wait a minute. That fell. Crap. Never mind.
God, what have I walked into? Oh my goodness.
I mean, speaking of the pandemic, I tend to agree. I don't really like large crowds either.
Mhm.
But I do have to say, I really do enjoy working from home.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the best thing ever. It's like so convenient and awesome, and I wish that I'm kind of hoping that it stays like this for a long time,
Mhm.
like at least through next year. I really like to I like waking up at 8 o'clock and not having to like drive and all that stuff, and just like signing into my computer and working in my underwear. It's awesome.
But you still have to keep to a certain hours, though, right? Because they do monitor that.
Well, you have work to do
Mhm.
and you got to be online. But the cool thing is, it's like lunchtime comes, I can just like go take a nap in my own bed, or I can like make lunch or whatever, and I don't have to like drive someplace, or you know what I mean? Like,
Oh, that's right. You used to like spend a whole hour or 2 hours to get to work when your older job, correct?
oh yeah,
Yeah. Well,
oh yeah.
I
mean,
I'll
that's
be right back. I'm gonna get a drink since I'm getting parched here. So go ahead and talk.
that's like
talk.
normal for Los Angeles. I mean, God, commute everywhere. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah.
Hey, Brayton. So where do
Yes.
where do you live, man? You live out on the East Coast, or?
I'm in the Midwest right now, and and it is cooling. We're hitting the ice age months of the fall
yeah.
season. So yeah, and it always comes so suddenly. It's gonna be in the 50s this coming week, and then
Yikes.
I have my fears about the winter. But that's the scary thing with like climate change and all that. Our winters here are pretty unpredictable. What was it? 2 years ago was when we were facing like temperatures where here in Iowa were colder than parts of the Antarctic. Like it was bad, like bad for your health to be outside. Yeah, it was like a statewide emergency to
Wow,
stay
really?
in shelter in place. Jeez. But I don't know what this year is going to look like. It's probably going to be terrible as usual. No snow yet, but it's probably coming up sooner than later.
Right.
Last year we had snow by Halloween, so we'll see if that happens this year, which is gonna suck because the typical shoveling and everything. I've always lived like in cold climates though. I haven't really experienced like the East or the West Coast sort of beach life. I haven't been blessed with sunny days year round. It's always sort of crappy and muggy and snowy and just not great to be outside during the winters here. But it is what it is, and yeah, I don't know. I enjoy part of that's another blessing with being an introverted person though is you live in a place like Iowa. There's not a lot of hubbub or a lot of stuff going on anyway when there's not a pandemic. So it's an easy life being out here, being one of the farm people.
Right on,
And
right on.
flyover country.
No, I used to have relatives that lived in Wyoming. We go see
Oh,
them.
yeah.
And I remember, because I used to smoke, right? So
Mhm.
I went to see my grandparents who lived in Cheyenne, and we're not used to cold in California. It doesn't get cold in Los Angeles like that. Like 60 degrees is cold to us. So I go outside, and it's like early in the morning. I go to have a cigarette, right?
Yeah.
And they don't want me to smoke in the house, so I walk down to the sidewalk. But I didn't put any shoes on because I wasn't expecting it to be, negative 5 billion degrees outside.
Yeah.
And it was so cold that the bottom of my feet were sticking to the sidewalk. It was like,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
so it was like, so I'm sitting there, but like but I'm smoking, right? I don't smoke anymore, but back then I did. And the thing is, the power of nicotine addiction is such that even though my feet are literally freezing to the ground, I don't put the cigarette out and go back inside like a sane person was. I just smoke really fast. So
Yeah.
I'm sitting there like smoking, and my feet are like, it's like smoke, quick smoke. God, it's so cold. My
Yeah.
toes are freaking freezing off, and that was like, yeah, I'm like, okay, I can't handle this icy snow
Yeah.
shit. Sorry. Like,
Yeah,
this is-
we've gone vacation occasionally in Florida, and yeah, I don't do well with a major change in temperature like that.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when you're so used to a specific type of weather, it's a shock to the system. Like immediately when you get off the plane, it's like an assault of humidity that just enters your lungs, and it's like, okay, not in Kansas anymore. This is a whole new world I'm stepping into. So
Right.
I don't know if I could ever really like at this point. I'm 21, so I'm not like an old shriveled person who's ready to settle down and retire. But
Sure
I
could
don't,
have
I don't,
fooled
I don't know
me.
if I could. Well, you are the oldest of the old, Raph.
Yes.
I don't think I could do well out on the West Coast or in Florida especially. But no, yeah, that's the thing that Raph, you always act like I live in a frozen tundra when I tell you about, oh, it's 40 out today.
Jeez, screw that.
Oh yeah, oh God, what is it? It was typical here, weather here during the really cold winter months is like -15, -20 outside. So it ramps up to be that we're not anywhere near that yet, but you can tell by the way that the weather's going, it's going that direction.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
No, California, Southern California is nice. It's the thing about it is that it's the same the whole year round. So
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
like changing of the seasons. I don't think I could do with that either.
it gets hot. It gets
Yeah.
way hot. That's the problem. Like I think there was a world record this year in the valley. It was like 120 degrees,
yeah.
something ridiculous like that. Like so. But usually it's not so bad, when things are not burning down.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of smog out here, though. I can tell you that. Just normally. I think you got some more questions here. Have we seen Darkman? Yes.
Yes, I'm a big fan of the very first Darkman movie, and I really enjoy that it's like just before the '90s action movies took over. It was still kind of that transition area between the more colorful, character-filled, not character-driven, but character-filled '80s action movies, especially with all the henchmen having individual names and small personality quirks, played by various character actors. And of course, it's a Sam Raimi movie inspired heavily by both Universal Monsters and the old pulp heroes like The Shadow. Of course, it's taken more to a '90s horror extreme. So I very much like the very first Darkman movie. I heard the direct-to-video sequel was pretty good alongside the third one, but I have not seen them, despite the fact I do have a Darkman trilogy set somewhere in my storage around here. I'll find it one day.
Yeah, it was sort of. I think that's something that's missing in a lot of modern movies. Like, a lot of like the action movies in the '80s and late '70s had character. You know what I mean? There'd be a henchman that had some kind of weird special power or ability, or had an eye that was a different color that could like shoot a knife out of it or something, or boomerang.
You're
hat with-
paraphrasing, right? Or is this the last action hero?
Paraphrasing, or a guy
Okay.
that could like throw his hat and it's like a boomerang that had a buzzsaw on the inside of it or whatever, and he only exists so to get killed by the hero in some really cool action sequence, like stuff like that. You don't really see that kind of thing. Like every once in a while, you'll see a movie that tries to pay homage to something like that, like Kill Bill maybe, or that kind of thing. But it's like your average comic book movie doesn't really have that kind of.
Oh yeah, it's a bunch of CGI mooks and maybe one memorable villain that we don't really care about because the Avengers are having an alcohol dinner drink.
Yeah, like that's a problem. Like with Marvel movies in general, the villains are very underutilized. Like villains that have really good backstories in the comics, like Crossbones or something, or Or God, what was the dude in Black Panther? You know, Claw.
Yeah, he's supposed to be a major villain, and they cast him beautifully with what's
Yeah,
his name in the role?
with freaking Gollum, that dude.
Yeah, and then they just
Yeah.
kind of kill him off halfway into it. Granted,
Although
he wasn't as
I think he might
wasted as like other Marvel or DC villains,
Yeah.
but still, it's a waste.
Well,
So.
I'm thinking Claw might come back though, because Claw in the comics is like made out of energy,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
they kind of shoot him, and then like, like they kill him in Black Panther and bring his body to Wakanda, and I'm thinking like somehow he's gonna like, fall on a pile of vibranium or some shit and like turn into energy or something.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, because the actor they got is too big of a name to waste on a one throwaway villain like
Yeah,
that.
Andy Serkis.
Yeah, Andy Serkis. He's much too big of a name to just kind of toss out how they did.
Mm-hmm.
So, and seeing how Claw is really the only Black Panther villain that like is like has any name recognition like at all. Like, I mean, can you name another Black Panther villain? Not really, you know.
Unfortunately.
But
So it did get weird in that one scene in Black Panther where Inspector Gadget battled Claw. I'll get you,
yeah,
Black Panther.
next time.
So, is Brayton
Oh.
still here, or did he leave us?
No.
Okay,
I'm still here.
okay. Don't get too sad by the nerd talk. We're doing our best not to get into the kaiju nonsense.
Are we about gonna wrap this up? It's midnight, 12:30.
On your end, we're not gonna go. Yeah, it's 10:39 on your end. How you holding up, Mark?
It's Friday night. I got all night. I mean,
What about
I
you?
can talk for a little while longer.
Okay,
Yeah.
then how about let's just do it for another 20 minutes and we'll call it quits.
Okay.
Okay. So, oh, do you want to talk about your experience playing the greatest character ever made, Mark the Crimson Roommate, and how we got you into this mess?
I was there.
Actually, speaking of that, is there going to be another Mystery Science Theater episode?
Yes. We have no. I have no idea when it'll be in production because of the current pandemic situation.
So what movie is it going to be?
It's the last Gamera movie. Thank God. And then we can take a long hibernation and rest our wounds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the worst one. It's nothing but a clip show, a complete clip show of a film. It's not fun. It's not even entertaining, but we have to push through.
Yeah,
This Gamera Super Monster.
yeah. Is that one
Yeah.
the one you haven't seen yet? And if so, you lucky bastard.
The one with the Star Destroyer in it or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Horrible.
but because of the COVID thing, we really can't film on either our ends. Although, like, Brayton's really punching up a really good script. We've already done tons of commentaries to fill up a billion jokes because it is.
The point is we can't do it. We can't film it right now because you guys have it easy. Where Raph, you could film on your own. Andres and Andrew just do voiceover for it.
Mhm.
I just have to have a big group of people to help me film the whole thing and run everything, like lights and cameras and action and all that, and robot puppets and whatnot. So I can't have a bunch of people crowded in my garage.
Yeah.
Exactly.
To do all that crap.
It's
So
not
what-
safe.
Yeah, so in the meantime, we're doing stuff to make it better, investing in different camera stuff and building props for it, and going to improve the aesthetic of our little show in the meantime when we can't film anything. So
Yeah.
we're working on it though, and it'll be done,
We-
and we can be rid of Gamera forever.
Do you have a Kickstarter or anything, Brayton? To kind
No, it's a fan. All of it's out of pocket. Luckily, it's a fan film for something that's incredibly cheap to produce.
Mm-hmm.
But we're still getting all the materials that we need for the props that we're adding together. Again, though, it's a fun project and it's fun to work on. If it weren't fun, then I probably wouldn't have any interest in doing more than one in the first place. But since it's a fun thing to do, it's easy. I get to do it with friends. It's a fun time.
People really seem to like it.
Yeah, and that's very
yeah.
surprising me. I wasn't expecting anyone to watch it, so the feedback has been really great.
Like genuinely, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's really cool.
And people are fond of your comedic duo of the Crimson
that's
Weirdo
all.
and Mark the Crimson Roommates.
Raph is the mastermind behind all that. I just follow his directions.
Yeah, because originally we were supposed to have Gabe in the role of just yelling at me. It was going to be off camera, but then it's like in one of my many risky creative moods, I was like, "Hey, Mark, you want to be in this?" And Mark the Crimson Roommate was born, and of course Brayton liked him enough that he brought him back as a much more significant character in the second episode. And we do want you back in the third episode, but we're going to see how the COVID isolation thing goes. So either we film you separately and we just combine us with the magic of editing, or it may be a thing where it's just me yelling at myself, literally and figuratively.
Well, the whole genius of it is that the Crimson Weirdo is such a bizarre weirdo of a character, and you have Mark the Crimson Roommate, who for all intents and purposes is just a normal average guy who really wants to be like the Crimson Weirdo, but the Crimson Weirdo turns him down at every advance. It's sad. It's like I think of it like an evil version of Incrediboy and Mr. Incredible from The Incredibles. It's that kind of relationship.
Yeah. With that said, what do you think of your? Before we continue, though, in the meantime, Brayton does have a secondary series called Up Mill Creek, and although we're only at one episode, you in the comments section are more than welcome to watch it. I just shared the link, and it's a really hilarious thing. Have you seen Mill Creek, Mark?
No, never heard of it.
The concept of it is all we do is watch. Mill Creek is famous for producing 50 movie box sets, sometimes 100 movie box sets, varying quality public domain films for each one. But they do like themed box sets, like 50 horror movies, 50 horror movies. They're all like old public domain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have
and
like
they've
sci-fi one. Right, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they've gone for a bunch of different genres. So Andres Perez, Raph here, and myself thought it would be a fun idea to just watch these at random and record any comments we may have as we watch them. It's kind of like it's basically drawing them out of a hat. We put all the titles. I've collected like 8 of these box sets of varying genres. We've got one from like horror, sci-fi. There's a Gladiator box set. There's a film noir box set. So really, it's picking any whichever movie out of a hat. I have to watch through them first to make sure there's nothing, horribly grotesque or unnerving that wouldn't fly on YouTube. But yeah, and it's pretty much all of us just watching them for the very first time and trying to make sense of them. And the next one.
These are all like 50s movies and stuff, so you're not going to have nudity in them or anything like that.
Oh, well, yeah, for the most part. There are some on there that I am familiar with that this shocked me at a young age watching them and discovering boobs for the first time. Like Invasion of the Bee-Girls. Wasn't expecting to see all that girl on screen. But it's... for the most part, we're in a tame, safe zone with all this stuff.
Right.
And it's sort of a fun, exciting new thing to do. Watch a new movie we've never heard of before, pull it out of a hat, so to speak, and we're working on trying to make that more of a reoccurring series. But it's just a matter of trying to find time when to do it again.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. Well, hey, I'm gonna have to watch through some of these.
Well, after we're done talking, do you want to? Because the first episode is only 16 minutes long. We can watch it independently after we're done talking tonight, and then before you leave.
It's in the description. We don't have to watch anything together, but it's there. It's there for people who would like to see it.
It's the Ape.
Yeah.
Yes, the Ape. It's a weird Boris Karloff 1940 film, and it's horrendously low budget, but it's got a certain sort of folksy charm in the way it's filmed. Looks like sort of a filmed kind of like a Little Rascals episode, or an episode of like Bonanza, maybe. I don't know. But Boris Karloff is always fun, even when he's playing a mad scientist looking for a spinal fluid serum.
Right on.
Okay.
No, I hear part of these. Do you have anything to add here?
No, I generally, I'm very, like, we're not going to watch it here, of course. So I was going to watch it after we're done podcasting.
No.
But that's up to Mark, whether or not he wants to stay in it for another 16 minutes. And no, I'm honestly proud of the first episode we did with the ape, and I'm looking forward to the second one we're doing, which is, may I say it, or we can keep it a secret?
Tune into my channel and you people will find a promo there promoting the second episode.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, definitely check out Up Mill Creek. I'm very proud of that series. And
we tried to do one, but I was blocked at every turn by CBS because apparently it's a made-for-TV. Well, you're not hearing this for the first time, Raph. You were there. You experienced this.
Yeah.
It's a made-for-TV movie that was produced by CBS and that fell into the public domain. Mm-hmm. But apparently CBS has some sort of weird rights on broadcasting rights to it, to where they can just flag videos that post it willy-nilly. So I had a second episode ready to go. Yeah, that was horror or nightmare. The Twilight Zone episode is nightmare at 25,000 feet or whatever. Yeah, this one was horror at 40,000 feet.
Yeah. Well, basically, William Shatner not having a fun time on a plane.
Yeah. William Shatner and Buddy Ebsen. It's a made-for-TV movie. What's his name? Chuck Connors. Mm-hmm. And it's a really fun movie. It's a shame we can't do that one because it's definitely made for TV, but it's a haunted airplane movie where there's spirits on a plane that possess the plane pretty much, and it has a nonsensical ending. So it's weird because you can see other people have it posted to their channels and whatnot, but for some reason, I guess they can just pick and choose who they're gonna flag.
It sucks too because I was really happy with the work we did on that one, but hopefully the next one we're doing is gonna work out. But
let's just say that let's lower people's expectations because we're not doing work on these things. All we're doing is sitting at our microphones and watching old movies.
So you know how you get around that? Is that you do a Patreon thing and you make it available only to people who pay. So
I would do that, but I don't know if I want. I don't know if at this point in my non-popularity that I would want to force people into paying me to watch crappy public domain movies and make the occasional funny comment.
Mm-hmm.
Or post it on Facebook, and then you say only members get access to it. And that way, it won't get flagged that way.
I might set up a Patreon in the future. I'm almost at 500 subscribers, so I might at some point set something like that up. Even though I don't really, YouTube's not something I really want to actively pursue.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really want to be a YouTuber, so it's not really in my foresight to do something like that. But Raph, you have a Patreon. Any updates on that?
No fishes yet, but we're still waiting.
Well, you haven't promoted it. Promote it a little bit.
I don't know. I don't know. I feel bad about promoting it, considering we're in the middle of a financial crisis. But yeah,
hey, right.
What's up?
Get people. You got to make money somehow, right?
Yeah,
Don't feel bad.
And
don't feel bad, dude.
Yeah,
you're worth it.
Yeah, and no, I will be making commissions available for videos because I'm about to start a new series myself in Shoma Likes Giant Monsters. Where I just
filed under the No Shit Chronicles, Raph. You have to put that in the subtitle.
Right. And the first episode is coming this Wednesday, so I just got to finish up some of the audio cues.
Right.
But yeah, but other than that, and I don't know. We'll see how that works out. But yeah, it is a series. Can you give me a link? Thanks. I just shared my Patreon. But like I said, it's better to contact me through my email address, which is accessible through the YouTube channel right here. Just go to the About section. And yeah, if you want me to watch the Tetsu movies and review them, I will be up for a commission. Or, I don't know. We'll see what happens, because I know I'm going to take commissions in Shoma Likes Giant Monsters. Because, I can babble on for monsters for like 25 a pop. So. But yeah, I got that series coming up, and of course we got the big Halloween live stream coming up later, along with another live watch that we've been doing once a month, where it's just me, Brayton, Andres, and Win watching whatever random movie comes to mind. We've done King Kong, we've done Mighty Joe Young, we've done Power Rangers the movie, and we are doing something Halloweenish on the 20th or the 25th. So
Right on.
yeah, so but yeah, it's just it's fun to hang out with you people and talk. So, but we are coming to the 11th. We are gonna end this live stream tonight. So, do you guys have anything you want to close out on or plug?
Well, I guess I could go first.
Yes.
Okay, guys. Well, so my name is Mark, and I have 2 YouTube channels. One of them is Why I Hate the World, which is my main channel, really. It's mainly where I talk about politics, stuff like that, stuff in the news, culture, that kind of thing. And then my second channel is a lot less political. It's all non-political content. So I'll talk about, my second channel is called UCDvideos. And it's because I used to have well, I actually still do have it. I just haven't worked on it in forever. A website back in the day called Ultimate Console Database, which was all about video games and that kind of thing. So the channel sort of started out about video games, and I've kind of branched off into like movie reviews and toy reviews and stuff like that, and talking about TV shows, that kind of thing. So it's sort of more of a pop culture channel in general. I do like toy unboxings and live, gaming live streams and talk about game consoles, that kind of thing. So, yeah, check me out there, and that's UCDvideos. And then I also have a DeviantArt and all this other stuff, and Etsy shop at it's Hawanja on Etsy, where I sell artwork. So if you like what I do, please check me out.
Mm-hmm.
Check me out on my social media there. So.
Okay, and then, like I said, the links are in the description right here for both Wyatt the World and UCDvideos.
Cool.
And
Thanks, man.
Brayton, do you want to say anything?
No.
Okay. All right. So, so I'm gonna play some end music, which unlike our wonderful opening theme done by Brayton here, I'm gonna mute the microphone. I'm gonna mute and microphone my end. You two keep talking to each other in private, and I'll join you in a minute or two. So, okay. So I'm gonna end the phone call. Oh, there we go. Brayton left. Okay. Are you still there, Mark?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. No, I was supposed to leave the phone call. You two guys were supposed to hang out for a minute or two. All right, I'll call you back in a minute. Go ahead and you do what you need to do. Get a drink or something.
Okay.
Okay, I'll talk to you. Okay. Okay, everybody. Thank you for joining us, and I will talk to you guys soon enough. All right. Bye.